Hello and welcome to the 2024 Anchorage Mayor's Cup. Will Hopkins alongside Vic Maslia and a three-game set starting tonight. This was game one of the weekend series, and all three games will count towards those season standings, but these two teams are playing for a little bit more than just that. For the 34th time, these two teams will face off to determine who runs the city of Anchorage, and although the Pilots lead the all-time Mayor's Cup standings leaderboard against these two teams, based on how these two teams have played against each other this season, as well as just in general in the league, you'd have to think the Bucs are the favorites to take home the cup.
Oh, of course, Will. In the last three games, the Bucks have won all of three of those games. And as far as non-league games go as well, they've won the last five meetings between the Pilots: a 6-5 victory, 3-2, 13-2 victory, and a 2-0 victory. If you count the doubleheader series too, which was a Fourth of July doubleheader, it was a non-league. Both of those non-league games, just 2 runs per game for the Pilots, and the Bucks pitching staff has been great, not just against the Pilots, but in this entire league as well. A little hiccup back in the Peninsula, but came back and beat these Pilots a couple times after that. The team is feeling good. The team's ready to go. Like I said, 5 wins against them in a row. The Pilots have just struggled offensively and have struggled against the Bucks bats. 6 runs, 13 runs, just the 2-run game, 2-0. But in that game, we saw that combined no hitter. So of course, just because they limited the bats to 2 runs didn't mean that they had that game won. Well,
Yeah, 100%. And the Pilots have played well. They've won their last three games, but looking at the Bucs sitting at first place in the ABL standings with the Pilots down in fourth. Now the Bucs haven't taken the trophy since 2018. The Pilots taking it in 2019, none in 2020, and then each of the last 3 years. So hopefully things can change on that front. And you mentioned the no hitter. We actually have a repeat pitching matchup from that no hitter. It'll be Cole Carlone for the Bucs. It'll be Tyler Stewart for the Pilots. We'll get a little bit more into those two as well as the lineups they'll be facing when we come back. Hello and welcome back to a rainy Mulcahy Stadium. Hoping to get things going on time in its totality. We mentioned the starting pitching matchup. It's the same as the game on July 3rd. That was the first of 3 games in 2 days between these two clubs. It was Cole Carlone getting the start for the Bucs, and he started fantastically. 5 innings, no hits, no runs, 9 strikeouts, and 2 walks. And that was the start of a combined no hitter. It was Carlone for 5 innings, Hyder for 2 innings, Arnett for 1 inning, and Purcell for 1 inning in that 2-0 Bucks win. Unfortunately, the 2 runs coming after Carlone left the ballgame, so he didn't even pick up the win despite how well he pitched. Sits with an 0-1 record in 4 games, all of them starts, 17 innings, a 2.65 ERA, 10 hits, 24 strikeouts, and 6 walks for the Arizona State Sun Devil. And on the other side will be the same guy for the Pilots as that game. It'll be Tyler Stewart.
Yeah, Tyler Stewart looked really good against the Bucks, like you mentioned earlier. The Bucks not getting those 2 runs until after Carlone came out of the game, and that meant after Stewart came out of the game as well. 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, just the 3 strikeouts. But we know the Bucks team to be a really competitive and disciplined team, so the 3 strikeouts honestly is pretty good in 5 innings for Tyler Stewart or anyone that faces off against the Bucks. In total, Stewart, this would be his fifth appearance. He has started in all 4 of his previous appearances. He's 0-2 in his lone decisions. 17 innings pitched, 16 hits, but just the 3 earned runs. 1.59 ERA back in his first start. That was opening day against these very Pilots when just 4 innings pitched due to it being earlier on in the season, but still doesn't go more than 4 or 5 innings from what we've seen at least. But 4 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs. That game the Bucks did not score, and he looked really good. Just the 2 walks in that game. So really good job by Tyler Stewart just this year. That's just the 3 earned runs given up and has the best ERA on the team by far. The only other one that's under him is Dylan Marks, who's actually pitched in 16 innings, but he is more known for being an infielder for these Pilots. But in terms of the starting pitchers and mainstay pitchers, Stewart definitely has one of the lower ERAs. Will.
Yeah, 100%. Stewart has pitched well against these Bucks, and he'll have to be at his best today against a really tough lineup.
Yeah, speaking of lineups, the visiting Bucks will start it off with Will Burns, who will lead it off and play at shortstop. Andrew Lamb will be the right fielder, batting second. Batting third is Ryan Callahan playing in left field. The cleanup batter, Cole Carlone, is also the pitcher in today's game, and he's also the designated hitter, so we'll still have his bat when he comes off the mound. Tommy Eisenstadt will bat fifth and play first base. Peyton Knowles will play second and bat sixth. The seven-hole batter, Josh Hankins, will play at third base. Our catcher, Brody Briggs, will play in or will be the 8-hole batter, and then Zane Kelly will be roaming around in center field batting ninth. Once again for the visiting Bucks, Burns, Lamb, Callahan, Carlone, Eisenstadt, Knowles, Hankins, Briggs, and Kelly. And as for the home team and the Anchorage Glacier Pilots, they'll lead it off with Dylan Marks, who's the designated hitter, followed by Luke Hefner in the 2-hole playing at shortstop. Luke Stogel will play in right field and bat third. Jacob Coes, will play in left field. He's the cleanup batter. Junior Barajas will be behind home plate catching up Stewart. He will bat fifth. Owen Hayes will play at first base, batting sixth. The 7-hole batter Chase Knight will play at third. Troy Sanders will play second base and bat eighth. And the 9-hole batter, rounding it out for the Pilots, is Logan Sanders, who will roam around in center field. Once again, for the home team, the Glacier Pilots, Marks, Hefner, Stolga, Coes, Barajas, Hayes, Knight, Sanders, and Sanders. Once again, there are 3 Sanders brothers, but we only get to see 2 in tonight's game so far to start. Of course, the third Sanders brother could be making an appearance later. That is Marcus Sanders, who could join Troy and Logan. So just about to announce the starting lineups here on the field. Once again, is a super rainy day. Carlone over there in the bullpen warming up for the Bucks. The coaches as well as the general managers were meeting at home plate talking with the umpires about tonight's game. The forecast wasn't looking too bad coming into the game. Of course, tomorrow and Sunday look a lot worse. So if today doesn't go as planned, then the Bucks and Pilots could be in trouble trying to find some makeup dates. Of course, the Bucks have a couple days off, the 18th and 19th, that I think could maybe work. But of course, definitely don't want to have to dip into that. And of course, the home game tomorrow, definitely want to have that being played. But still pretty rainy right here. Uh, and they're just waiting on the starting lineups to be announced. Going back to the last game for the Bucks, just a tough loss. The first time this Anchorage Bucks team has lost by more than 3 runs, so that was a little bit hard to see. But of course, in the terms of the whole season, it's bound to happen. And considering that it happened so late in the season, it's pretty impressive by this Bucks team. Just an unfortunate first inning, the six spot put up by the Chinooks, and the Bucks just could never climb back, which was unfortunate. But hats off to that Chugiak team. They really came to hit, and they really hit Zane Kelly hard, Adu hard, pretty much everyone. Even Tommy Eisenstadt got a home run hit off of him, but he actually looked pretty good considering everything that went on in that game. So we'll take a little bit of a break here. It might be an extended break. I think that they're still waiting a little bit to make sure that the rain will hold off. And actually, instead of taking a break, we'll let you guys see uh, the first pitch thrown out by the chief of police.
Yeah, that's Sean Case, the chief of police here in Anchorage. And a good stop behind the plate by Dylan Marks, but a good toss from the chief of police, and good to see throughout this Mayor's Cup to see just the city of Anchorage involved, and these two teams obviously meaning a lot to the city, and hopefully the Bucks can come out on top.
Well, that is the goal. The Bucks trying to get back into the win column. Now at 7 losses, but after the first couple of losses from this Bucks team, went on back-to-back 5-game win streaks. So hoping for something similar here. This is the first real series after the Peninsula series, and really just the second series that the Bucks team will actually have. Back in the Peninsula, that was a 5-game series where the Bucks ended up losing 3 out of those 5 games. Just tough, but coming back from that break, have just lost 2 games in the month of July, and this Bucks team has looked really fresh and they're just looking to make a splash here, and if they win today, it just sets them up for tomorrow and the rest of this Mayor's Cup. Would love a sweep, but obviously winning 2 of 3 against the same team, the Pilots, who are pretty red hot considering they won the last 3 games. Anything will do for this Bucks team, but of course, want to be a little bit greedy. A sweep would be just dandy considering this team has not won the Mayor's Cup since 2018.
It was a sweep back then, so maybe it can be a sweep this time.
That's hopefully the case. Still taking a little bit longer. It was a scheduled 6:10 start, but we heard earlier that they were going to shoot for 6 o'clock. I'm wondering if the rain has pushed that back just a tad, or if we're actually going to start at 6:10. So if we are starting at 6:10, we do apologize for teasing you guys a little too much, but the first couple guys heading out to the field for the visiting Pilots. And once again, Stuart Carlone facing off for not just the first time, and that combined no hitter. Unfortunately for Stuart, just of course the no run support, no hit support.
Mm-hmm.
But he pitched a great game, and that's the reason why the Bucks only scored those 2 runs. So hoping for some better luck against him. The bats have been a little bit quiet for the Bucks, despite all those wins, especially in the doubleheader. Not as much noise as what we're used to, but the Bucks pitching staff has been great. Besides that 10-run game just to Chugiak a couple days ago.
Yeah, 100%. And even in that 10-run game, some guys coming in and just eating innings to really save this staff. And that was great to see, not the least of which was Jake Rafferty from nearby Service High School. He ate a couple of innings, but looks like we're just about ready to go. We'll go ahead and take a break for the national anthem after the last player, Logan Sanders, has just been announced.
Yep, and this is a best-of-3 series, so tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, all a part of the Mayor's Cup, and the winner will be who won those 2 games or potentially who sweeps. So we'll take a break for the national anthem. We'll be right back with you.
Please stand as you're able and remove your hat for the playing of our national anthem. Let's play ball.
Well, welcome back to Mulcahy Stadium. Sorry we gave you the wrong stats on Tyler Stewart. We did not have the stats inputted or the league did not have the stats inputted for his first start, which was opening day all the way back on June 6th. So that puts his ERA all the way down to 1.29. So definitely some of the lowest ERA on their pitching staff, besides Dylan Marks, who's actually pitched in 16 innings, but we mostly know him as being an infielder. 24 strikeouts and just 5 walks on the season. And get this, 4 of those 5 walks against these Bucs in his only 2 starts against them. So definitely a team that he struggles with a little bit in terms of the base on balls, but not really. 2 walks in each of his 2 starts for a team like the Bucs, who have the most walks by far in the league and who are just a disciplined team in general. 2 walks is really not that bad, but it just goes to show you how good of a disciplined team that this Bucs team really is. I mean, they are just doing a great job at getting themselves on base, whether it's putting the ball in play and getting some fortunate plays out in the infield by opponents and unfortunate for them, or base hits, base on balls. Any way the Bucs can take advantage, they do, and that's how they've done so against Tyler Stewart in just the couple of walks. So he is warming up on the hill. Will Burns has led it off a couple of times. We haven't seen him lead off too much. Carlone was actually leading off for the Bucs uh, just before our couple days off, so he was leading off for at least 2 to 3 games. I'm pretty sure he might have in that doubleheader versus the Miners, but the throw goes down to second base, and we're just about ready. Will Burns walking up to the home plate, and then Tyler Stewart getting the ball from his third baseman. So he walks up onto the hill. Will Burns steps into the batter's box, and now here in the booth, ready for the play-by-play, is Will Hopkins.
Thank you very much, Vic. Pilots debuting, at least against the Bucs, some new uniforms as Stewart finds the zone. Some grayish, greenish camo jerseys they've got going on. They look pretty nice. The Bucs in the black tops. And Stewart quickly ahead 0-2 on Will Burns. Burns, one of 5 Bucs who's faced off against Stewart twice already this season. Still looking for his first base hit, and there's a good chance at it as that gets down in fair. Oh, foul. I think that's a missed call by the umpire down the line. That clearly looked like it went to the right of that left field line.
Yeah, I don't know. He's telling the dugout what he saw over there, and he's pretty confident. So he was telling them, kind of making a joke about if they can review that or not. Of course, we can't here. It was definitely close. I still think we don't have the best angle to view it, and of course, we don't have any chalk flying up. So I don't want to say anything up here, but it did look really close, Will.
Thought it was fair, but Burns will have to step back in. Like I said, still looking for his first hit against Stewart this season. Fouls that one off. Struck out and flew out back on opening day. And then a ground out, a walk, and a fly out back on the third against Stewart. Burns, Eisenstadt, Knowles, Briggs, and Kelly are the 5 that have faced him twice. As there's the first ball from Stewart. And like we said, not a guy who will walk a ton of batters. 5 walks this season, 4 of them coming in 2 starts against the Bucs. Long pause from Stewart, and now the 1-2 to Will Burns. And he gets him swinging to start this one.
Even though Burns got down in an 0-2 count, still made a good fight at that and almost had a double down the line, just a couple of inches away, if not even centimeters away from getting a double. And now here's Andrew Lamb. So hopefully some better luck for him.
Yeah, Lamb getting a word from Burns as Burns headed to the dugout. Lamb has yet to face Stewart. Only man in the lineup that can say that. Swings and misses at the first offering, and Lamb did play in one of those games that Stewart pitched in, but didn't come in until after Stewart was removed from the game. Like we said, Stewart doesn't tend to go particularly long, but as long as he's in there, he's been pretty darn good. Evens the count 1-1.
Some of the first time seeing Andrew Lamb not wearing the high socks. It's usually a patented look for him.
See if the switch up does him well. Fouls this one back to the screen. Bucs sitting atop the league at 16-7. Pilots in 4th place at 11-15, but like we mentioned in the open, playing much better ball lately, have won their last 3 games. Good job by Lamb to hold up his swing. Believe it's 2-2. Scoreboard, now updating here at the park. Rainy day at Mulcahy Stadium and a rainy weekend and a couple of days after that ahead. Hopefully we can get in as much baseball as possible, and a good job by Andrew Lamb to work this count full.
Yeah, and for Lamb, definitely climbing up that at-bat leaderboard. He is now in sixth, or tied for sixth, or tied for fifth, I guess you could say, for most at bats on the team with Zane Kelly, 52.
Lamb puts this one on the ground right up the middle, and there's the first base hit of this game. It's Andrew Lamb.
And he's just been a hit machine. Average up to 269, so about 271, 272 now, which is a great spot to be in. And if you don't know much about Collegiate Summer League, especially up here in Alaska, if you know about college baseball, you know that hitters' averages are inflated crazy. The metal bats, you've got your some of your best hitters in college baseball. What Condon was batting for something.
He was above 500 a lot of the season, but ended up in the 400s. Yeah.
And that one's low. But going back to what I was saying, so many guys in college baseball hitting 330 and above. I mean, tons of guys. You've got 3 or 4 guys on some of the best SEC teams hitting 350 or somewhere around there. So in this league, in the Alaska Baseball League, hitting above 270 is actually really good.
100%. You look at it, and it doesn't really pop off the page because of some of those things you mentioned. The numbers we're more used to in the college game. But Lamb at 269 coming into play today, that was the 8th highest average in the league among qualified hitters. So that just goes to show. Swing and a miss from Ryan Callahan. He flew out and singled against Stewart back on the third. But yeah, Lamb at 269, 8th in the league. Carlone sitting atop that
344.
at 344. Callahan, the man at the plate, in 4th at 313 with a couple of Oilers in between the two of them, Rothberg and Robson. And then Eisenstadt right behind Callahan. So 4 Bucs in the top 8 of the batting average numbers. And it's a large part of the reason why these Bucs are in first place.
Yeah, and 340 here in collegiate summer baseball, that's like 450 if you give him a metal bat.
Another swing and a miss from Callahan. And mind you, Carlone's also focusing on pitching as well. He's not taking his whole time to think about what he's doing at the plate. And just like today, he's splitting that time at the plate and on the mound.
And a 2.65 ERA. If it weren't for that Rocky starting out the peninsula, it'd be at least 1.5 or somewhere around that.
Callahan puts this one in the air on the left side. Coase comes in, but instead it'll be the shortstop Hefner, and there's the second out as Andrew Lamb comes back to first base.
And Carlone, not just because of his average, but the pitching too, is the clear standout for MVP of the league right now. I mean, there's no one really even close. He's got the highest average. One of the highest on base percentage. He's slugging great.
Couple of home runs.
Yeah, a couple of home runs. Colin Robson with a 5.29 slugging. Yeah, he's really hitting the ball over the place.
So Carlone to the plate now puts the first pitch in play. One bounce to Troy Sanders and over to first for the third out. So Carlone grounds out to end the top of the first. We'll see him on the mound when we come back. home half of the first inning. The Pilots, the home team for games 1 and 3 of this Mayor's Cup, with the Bucs being the home team tomorrow night. Carlone will face Marks, Hefner, and Stolga, and then extending to Coz and Barajas. Those 5 were the same 5 to start things for the Pilots against Carlone in that combined no-hitter. So no switch-ups despite the lack of success. Marks with a 4-pitch walk to start that game before Carlone and the rest of this Bucs staff just locked in.
Yeah, they really did. Just a great job all around. A lot of strikeouts in that game.
9 for Carlone. Throws a strike to Marks, who puts this one in play to right. Andrew Lamb over towards the line makes the play, and 2 pitches and 1 out for Cole Carlone. Much better start than he had against Marks back on the third. And now Hefner will come to the plate. He struck out and grounded out to first base in that combined no-hitter against Carlone.
And for Carlone, you just want everything to be kind of simple out there. Don't want to get too ahead of yourselves. You got to realize that you're also hitting. And I think it's more important when he comes from hitting to pitching rather than pitching to hitting. But still, it's got to keep his mind fresh and keep his mind locked into the pitching side of things and not get caught up about that last at bat. Not that he would, and not that he's a guy to dwell in the past, but it's hard sometimes.
Big swing and a miss from Luke Hefner. Had the shortstop off balance there, and Carlone quickly ahead 0-2.
Yeah, Carlone's at his best when he's just very comfortable and poised out there. He's already ready to go, rocking back and forth, but he's not rushing himself, not going too fast, not going too slow.
He'll field the ground ball this time beautifully. He'll run halfway to first and flip it to Eisenstadt, and Carlone working quickly here with 2 away now.
I just love his mechanics. Once he finishes that pitch, he gets himself in a fielding position. You could see it right there. Gets himself in that fielding position right there, and he looks that ball into the glove. A lot of guys just try to olay it. Not that that was hit super hard and you almost had to, but still, some guys get caught up like that and just try to flash the leather. But you could see Carlone looking that ball in, making himself smaller, just watching it into the glove.
Definitely a comfortable fielder playing first base as Stolga swings and misses. He and Eisenstadt mostly platooning over there, but we've seen some Ryan Callahan lately as well as Andrew Lamb. No balls and a strike to the right fielder, and that one's too far outside, but Brody Briggs still likes it from Carlone.
And although he's great at first base, it's still so different being out there on the pitcher's mound. Balls come back to you so much quicker.
Definitely a lot less time to react, and looked like Stolga didn't have enough time to react to that fastball.
Now he's blowing it right by him. When he works up in the zone, Carlone's fastball, although it might not be a 2 to 3 mile per hour increase, maybe 1 or 2, but it looks faster and it looks harder, and he thought he had strike 3 there.
He definitely did. Was already starting towards that Bucs third base dugout. Didn't get the call from the home plate umpire, so he'll head back to the rubber with an even count.
I like the confidence, though.
100%. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch to Stolga. There's strike 3 called. Carlone with a beautiful 1-2-3 bottom of the first. Bucs come back to the plate when we come back. Top half of the second inning. Game 1 of the 2024 Mayor's Cup. To the plate for the Bucs, it'll be 5, 6, and 7. Eisenstadt, Knowles, and Hankins. Eisenstadt looking for his first base hit against Stewart this season. 0 for 3 with a walk, swings at the first pitch and fouls it out of play down the left field line. Struck out and walked in the first meeting between these two, and then a ground out and a fly out back on the third. Takes this one upstairs, and we are looking through some of the statistical leaderboards for this season, and Eisenstadt towards the top, 5th in batting average, coming into play at 291. 3 strikeouts, so impressive from him.
Yeah, he just has an unbelievable eye, and he just does a great job day in and day out, making every at-bat worth it. And a lot of walks that he's drawn, and just a good job of getting on base. We say that he does such a good job of getting on first base all the time, whether it's the walks, whether it's the base hits, and just the singles going opposite field, going through the hole, up the middle. Any way you could get on base, Eisenstadt does it.
100%. Puts this one in play. A grounder for Chase Knight. He makes a strong sidearm throw for the first out.
And here's another guy in Knowles who has done a good job recently, just getting on base and putting the ball in play, hitting 273. Yet he is pretty far down there in terms of at-bats. Just with 33, guys like Adam Inyart are above him. Christian Powell, we haven't seen in a while. Max Ross, who's still dealing with an injury. But a good average this summer and limited at-bats. And I think that that's the hardest thing to do, because up here, it's just hard to get into that groove, hard to deal with the altitude and getting the ball in the air. And hitting 273 with those limited at-bats is really impressive for Peyton Knowles.
And he's been in the lineup more and more lately. Nolan Cusey leaving for the summer, and then Christian Powell hurting his shoulder and subsequently leaving, and gave Knowles more of a chance to play his more usual position of second base. We were used to seeing him in the outfield so far for the Bucs, but second base is his more natural position. Way ahead 3-0, and that's a 4-pitch walk. He tosses the bat with authority to try to get the boys going, and hopefully the next man up, Josh Hankins, can be a part of that.
And there's another walk for these Bucs batters against Stewart.
So weird.
It is so weird. 6 walks for Stewart, 5 of them against the Bucs, and it's a really bizarre thing. But at the same time, Will, it's really not, because this team has done such a good job at drawing walks on some of the best pitchers in the league.
Yep, the Bucs with 126 drawn walks so far this season, as Knowles slides back into first base. The Miners second with 120, but then you go down to third, and that's the Chinooks with 77. Oilers with 75 and Pilots with 74. So it's really the Bucs and the Miners, and then everyone else in kind of 2 separate classes. First pitch high and tight.
Oh, look at that.
And a delayed steal from Knowles, and he really caught them sleeping. A bad throw from Barajas. He's going to get into third base. And he's talking to the dugout, hyping them up, and he's hyping himself up. How about that? Just a typical up and in pitch to Hankins, and Knowles really catching Barajas, and I'd say myself off guard as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, Will, after every pitch, I know you're writing stuff down, so no fault at that. And looking at it, he just got a super big secondary lead, and Knowles is the type of guy who's done that before, and he makes himself very nonchalant about it. You can't really tell he's going until he's already past halfway.
We'll see how that's scored. I'd imagine a stolen base and then an error to get him over to third. And that is exactly how it was scored. It's Pilots scoring this game, and infield coming in with a man on third and 1 out. This one bounced foul. Chance for Hankins with an RBI early. Key is to just get it out of the infield. Knowles showing off some decent speed and could tag on a fly ball.
Yeah, and going back to Knowles, it wasn't really even a big secondary. It kind of just took off.
1-2 is in the dirt. Hankins telling Knowles not to go anywhere. Always good to see that communication between the batter and the runners on any base, but especially at third. Play will be at home on a ball in the infield. 2-2 from Stewart. Hankins grounds it through the infield. No throw home because they couldn't get to it. It's an RBI single for Josh Hankins. The Bucs lead it 1-0 here in the second inning.
As Hankins just doing his job, and it doesn't matter if the infield's in. He hit it between third and short. That was a base hit all day, regardless of if the infield's in or not. And that's called doing your job right there. You got a big hole open because they're on the infield grass and driving it through it right there. It's just a great job by Hankins. He's just done so well, and he's gotten a lot more at bats, now up to 44, and just hitting 205. It's really good to see his bat get going.
RBI number 6 on the year. Ground ball through the right side from Brody Briggs. Hankins will stop at second as that ball was drilled from Briggs and still able to get to it pretty quickly, but hits starting to come here for the Bucs.
Yeah, and we see this a lot, but the only bad thing about it was just hit a little bit too hard. And it was hit so hard that Hankins actually had to let it go by before he started running to second. And the combination of his late start and how hard it was hit out to right field made it difficult for him to try to shoot to third base. Luke Stolga got to it pretty fast, but the Bucs will take it.
So now Zane Kelly to the plate. We saw him pitch and hit in the last game before the 2 days off. As Stewart steps off, but for Kelly, struggled on the mound, got the first two guys out, and then just couldn't finish that first inning. Stayed in the game to hit and eventually got out into the outfield, but he didn't let it weigh on him too much. Saw him after the game, and he was in good spirits, and any anger that he did have was taken out on some fish on the Kenai River, I'll tell you that.
Man,
He was a beast fishing for those salmon and should have some good food to eat now.
yeah, I would not like to be a fish in that river after that. And not saying that Zane Kelly was more mad than a normal person would be after that, but wouldn't want to get anywhere near his rod.
No balls and a strike. Good eye from Kelly.
And Kelly is super easygoing guy, doesn't let things really get to his head. So it doesn't surprise me what you said, that he was in pretty good spirits after that outing, especially since he has not pitched in so long.
Yep, had been a super long time as he fouls this one back. Almost exactly a month since he'd been used on the mound in league play. First two outings were solid. Good number of reasons, I guess, why he hadn't been used since then, and always going to be tough when you haven't seen live action from that point of view in such a long time. But Kelly in the lineup as a hitter has been a good hitter for these Bucs. Has a home run on the year, and now a 1-2 count, and another good take from Kelly. Hankins at second, Briggs at first. Already won from the Bucs here in the second, and Kelly and the rest of the boys looking for more.
Yeah, we've seen him do a good job of just moving the line over, getting him on, getting him over, getting him in.
Swings at this one and hits it way up in the air. It's got some good backspin to it, and luckily that'll take it out of the reach of Barajas.
Yeah, it seems like when the Bucs score runs, and they score a lot of runs, it's usually in the same inning. We've had games where they've scored one in each of the next consecutive innings, but as of late, and when the games that they have been really dominant in, they've been moving the line in specific innings and putting up a really crooked number. 3, 4, even 5 runs. We've seen 6 spots put up by the Bucs before.
Pitch to Kelly, hit in the air in fair territory this time. Hefner backpedals towards the end of that turf, and he makes the play for the second out. So good job from Stewart to get his man, but now back to the top already in the second inning for the Bucs. Will Burns, who struck out swinging to start things, but if you'll remember just a few minutes ago, super close to a double down that left field line.
Yeah, I would like to see him straighten it out right here. Maybe we'll get the same pitch from Stewart.
Takes one just a little bit low, and obviously with 2 outs, Hankins and Briggs will be going on contact. 2 pretty speedy guys on the bags.
Yeah, Briggs, despite being a catcher, if you hit one in the gap, he's most likely going to score.
1-0 fouled straight back our way. Just about a foot from hitting the Pilot's crowd mic. Luckily, all the equipment did okay. Now Burns finds himself in a 1-1 count. Swings at this one, puts it in the air to shallow right. Stolga comes on and makes the play for the third out, but the Bucs do get 1 run. They lead it 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the second inning. Bottom of the second inning, Cole Carlone takes the mound with a 1-0 lead, thanks to an RBI single from Josh Hankins, scoring Peyton Knowles, who had some super heads-up base running, getting himself over to third base. Infield came in, and Hankins hit it right through the gap on the left side. Huge cut and a miss from Jacob Coes, who gets this inning started against Carlone, and these Pilots just can't catch up to that heater.
Yeah, and like I said, when he's working up in the zone with it, climbing the ladder on these batters, it looks 5 miles per hour faster, I'd say.
Skied into shallow left center. Zane Kelly calls everybody off, loses his cap, and makes the play. And I talked to Kelly about how he loses that hat. I was commending him on that diving catch in the 9th inning last game, and he was like, well, yeah, I was diving. That's why it came off. I was like, no, it came off when you were running, and that happens almost every time you make a catch, and he honestly didn't even realize it. Maybe now that I had said something, he'll realize it as he puts it back on in center. Whatever gets the job done, though. First pitch, a called strike to Junior Barajas, and Carlone's just pounding the strike zone. 3 balls and 10 strikes so far.
Yeah, it just looks very comfortable out there on his own timing. Not really worrying about anything and just trying to keep runners off the base paths.
Barajas puts this one in the air. Will there be room for Tommy Eisenstadt?
Oh, wow.
And it looks like there is. We can't see over there, but going off the reaction, 100% as Barajas heads back to the dugout, and Carlone will take it. Good play by Eisenstadt over there, I'd have to imagine.
Yeah, sometimes I like that, being able to tell, just reading what the infielders say, or reading what the infielders do when they make the grab. Carlone out there trying to make sure the umpire saw that Eisenstadt hauled that ball in.
5 outs for Carlone on 14 pitches, and ahead to start against Owen Hayes. The only man in this lineup for the Pilots that was not in the lineup for that July 3rd combined no-hitter from the Bucs. He swings at this one, and another chance for Eisenstadt, or will it be Lamb coming on? It is Andrew Lamb in a lightning-fast second inning. 16 pitches, 6 outs for Cole Carlone. We head to the third. Bucs looking to add on to a 1-0 lead. Top of the third inning, and Cole Carlone's trying to get us out of here quick.
Yeah, he just is so comfortable out there. And what makes him so good is that coming off of a 9-strikeout game, he only has 1 strikeout now, and he's just getting pop-outs left and right, and getting these Pilots hitters to get under the baseball and just have weak swings. I think that says a lot about him, that he doesn't rely on just the strikeouts, and vice versa.
Lamb takes one outside, and we were talking to Coach Dunham before the game, and some pitchers have innings limits per starter per season, or pitch limits per starter per season, and Carlone's more of a pitch thing per start. Didn't get an exact number on that. As Lamb swings at this one, puts it in the air to left center field, and that'll get down in front of the diving Jacob Coes. He rounds first. He's headed for second. Throw won't get there in time. It's a leadoff second for a leadoff double for Andrew Lamb.
And the Tim Tebow at the end. Gotta love it. What a great celebration for Andrew Lamb. And this team has kind of incorporated that a little bit. And he just does such a great job of going gap to gap. He went left center field there. We saw him go to right center field in the last game. And that ball, even though it's hit so high, Will, he puts it in the perfect spot where no outfielder can grab it. And this is a big outfield, don't get me wrong, but we talk about all the time, when you get the ball in the air like that and hit that high, usually it's going to be tracked down. But Lamb, gap to gap, and it's just so much power for him.
Coase gave it all he could, couldn't get there in time, so now Callahan to the plate. He swings at the first pitch, roped into right field. That's going to get down, and that's going to bring Lamb around third and coming home. The throw's cut off by Owen Hayes. It's going to be a RBI single for Ryan Callahan. The Bucs lead it 2-0.
A great job by Callahan jumping on that one early. Looked like something that was hanging over the middle of the plate, and Callahan was able to take his time, bring his hands in, let that ball travel, and he lines it down the line. We saw Burns try to do that from the opposite side. You know, he's a righty, Callahan's a lefty, but Callahan this time let the ball travel a little bit further, and he's able to get it almost a double down the line. But that one was cut off pretty quickly, actually, and Lamb almost had a closer play than we anticipated.
Carlone swings and misses at the first one. And as we were talking before, these Bucs put a couple hits together. Carlone, a guy, he wants some more pine tar in this rain, but he has kind of a pitch limit per start. Didn't get an exact number on that, but if you're in that situation, you better have some quick innings if you want to go deep into the game. And Carlone, 8 pitches per inning so far. He's setting himself up to, no matter what that pitch limit is, go pretty far in this game.
Well, he's not just trying to get out of here. The Bucs are too, because with the rain coming on, they need at least 5 innings, and I'm sure Carlone here right now is like, let me just get this one over the wall. We'll have a 4-run lead, and we'll just get 3 quick outs. I'll go back on the mound, I'll get my quick outs, and then we can call it a day. That's probably what he's thinking right now.
Let's see if he can get one over the wall here. I'd give you a lot of credit if he does. Takes one just a little bit outside. Carlone, such a unique opportunity to be able to help yourself out as a pitcher when you're at the plate. Not something you see every day, even in a league where a lot of players play both ways. Don't always see them playing both ways at the same time in the same game. Takes one in the dirt. His team with a 2-0 lead over the Pilots in Game 1 of this Mayor's Cup.
And he's probably thinking, that's all I need, boys.
The way he's locked in. 2-1 right off the glove of Tyler Stewart. He does not get to it in time. That ball hit hard by Carlone right to his counterpart. Stewart did a good job of recovering and getting over to the baseball, but we've talked about it time and time again. Carlone's just so speedy getting down that line. Hopefully Stewart's okay though.
He sure is, and Carlone had an extra hop in his step, and he really got down there fast. And just unfortunate, Stewart put the glove out there. That one just popping right out because it was hit so hard. And another base knock for Carlone, I assume. I wouldn't think that would go down as an error, especially if the Pilots are keeping score. So yeah, it is a single.
And rightfully so. And now
100%.
6 hits for these Bucs. So now Eisenstadt digs in. Grounded out his last time up. Shows bunt, pulls it back. Throw over to second, and Callahan in safely. Pretty high throw. Good job by Hefner to corral it.
Yeah, it's a risky play always. We see Briggs do it a lot, but we know Briggs' arm is so good, so we don't really worry about it. But that one, I don't know if the Pilots like to see that one too much.
Would have a shorter throw over to first.
Yeah, Bras has got that air pod in. You see that?
Yeah, we've seen him. I think he had it back on the July 4th games as well. Eisenstadt squares again and lines this one back foul. We'll see if that changes up things from Coach Sanagorski.
Yeah, Eisenstadt wouldn't strike us as the best sack bunter, but of course doesn't really take the specific body type to do it, or position type.
Yeah, hitting 291 though, so would love to see him swing away. Looking for his 10th RBI of the season if he can get Callahan in. He is squaring, pulls it back at just the last second.
And I don't want to say this as a statement where I'm super confident in it, but it just doesn't seem like he's super confident
I'd agree.
at the plate when he's bunting. It's kind of seeming like he's sticking it out there and trying to pull from the back of his memory about how to lay down a good sack bunt.
Not the most likely position to be laying down a bunt as a first baseman. He squares again, gets this one on the ground, but foul, and now with 2 strikes, we'll likely see him swinging away.
And Will, you could see that he keeps his bat out there, but once the ball kind of comes in, he kind of not that he gets a little bit scared, but he's just he pulls the back a little bit, which is why that wasn't in fair territory. If he holds that bat out there and doesn't necessarily push, but let the ball hit the bat and keep that at an angle, that's how you're going to get it down. For him, he just kind of pulls it back a little too far.
Chokes up a little bit with 2 strikes. Still no outs here, and first time swinging away is successful. That's a ground ball through on the right side. Callahan waved around third. He'll come home to score, and that throw gets past Luke Hefner Jr. An error over there from Owen Hayes. Both Bucs are going to advance, and now there's 2 in scoring position with the Bucs already plating 2 this inning.
You know, I think Eisenstadt, that might have been on purpose that he didn't get that second bunt down. He wanted to swing away. No, I'm just saying that. But a great job by Eisenstadt. He's probably a little bit in his head, man, I couldn't get the job done on the sac bunt, but it's so impressive after not being able to do your job when you first get it, when you first get that bunt sign, and then all of a sudden your brain totally switches. You got 2 strikes on you. Yes, it's a 2-2 count, but still, it's a totally different mindset. He's able to get that bat back and put a good swing on it and deliver a single in the outfield, and a good job by Callahan motoring around the bases. And I'm not sure that ball was supposed to be cut off. It looked like Barajas was a little frustrated. However, there wasn't a lot on that throw, and I think Callahan would have been safe either way.
Second error of this game for the Pilots. Now 7 hits for the Bucs, and there's still none away here in the third inning. 1 in the second, 2 in the third so far for the Bucs, and with Carlone at third and Eisenstadt at second, Knowles at the plate. Got to have these Bucs looking for even more.
100%. And I talked about it, just the 1-run last inning, but usually when the Bucs are looking as dominant as we've seen them, they score in bunches, and they're always putting up a crooked number. And I wouldn't be surprised here if they get 3-4 runs, maybe even more, if Peyton Knowles can find a gap.
Corners come in, but middle infield stayed back. There was a little bit of indecision there from Troy Sanders, but Owen Hayes told him to go back to his usual position. Stewart stepped off before throwing his first pitch, and now he delivers, and Knowles puts it in play and past the diving Troy Sanders. Carlone's going to score. Eisenstadt coming around third, and he's going to score, and wisely into second base is Peyton Knowles. It's a 2 RBI base hit. The Bucs are up 5-0.
And there goes Knowles with the thinking man pose, and everyone's doing it now, and a great job of taking advantage. He sees that throw coming home, and he is immediately off the base pass. Knowles is the type of guy where you never have to remind him to take an extra base. He is always going to do it, and he just shows his athleticism right there. That ball was up the line a lot. It was not a crazy difficult throw for Barajas to make to second base, but Knowles, the awareness, he's going to be safe in there every single time, and he was just then, and that could have been a lot closer.
And you talked about him never hesitating to take an extra base. We're only here in the third inning, and it's already the second time we've seen it from him. I guess third time if you count twice in one play. A delayed steal to second, throw went into the outfield, and he went over to third base, and then now advancing on the throw on his 2 RBI single.
And even though Knowles has been hitting really well this summer, just had the 1 RBI coming into this game, now up to 3. And a guy that's been having a lot of base hits, finding himself aboard with those 9 walks. He's really getting rewarded now for the good play.
You talked about how this Bucs offense had gone a little bit quiet. Something happened over those 2 days off, and they're alive and well, that's for sure.
Yeah, even with talking with the coaches after the game, the team's just a little bit tired. They were playing a lot and double headers, and even though some were non-league games, still the July 4th doubleheader and then the one against the Miners, they're just tired a little bit. Arms are tired, and a lot of people like to think, well, you know, yeah, it makes sense pitcher's arms gets tired. Well, it gets tiring going out there and putting up good quality at-bats. Not just with the physical tiredness, but the mental game too. And I think these guys really enjoyed those 2 games off.
4 earned runs to the name of Tyler Stewart as Knowles heads for third, but it looks like the throw beat him, and it did. That time trying to get the extra 90 and unsuccessfully so, but hey, that's okay. That's what you're going to get when you're always looking to get more and more. They do say never trying to make that first out at third, so that'd be the only thing against Knowles there, but nonetheless, he's always looking for more, and Hankins down a 3-1 count, but like I was saying, 4 earned runs to the name of Tyler Stewart of these 5 runs, and that's already more than he's had the entire year combined.
Yeah, and can't really fault him. He hasn't looked this bad before, but Bucs just really getting on him, and it's a hot Bucs team, and even with the loss in their last game, it's still the team is just hitting crazy, and they've been hitting crazy all summer. So for Stewart, the good thing is he's not getting crazy balls hit off of him to the wall and any crazy extra base hits like that, but that might change right here.
Now it looks like Stolga is going to have that one right on the foul line, or he dropped it. He dropped it, but they're saying that it's a foul ball. It was right on that line.
And like I was saying, Even the double by Lamb, that was the only really hard hit ball, and he got under it just a little bit, but still drove it out to the gap. But for Stewart, he's just giving up a lot of just easy base hits for the Bucs, and they're hitting it pretty hard. But like I said, we have not seen this type of game from him. He's looked really sharp. So 5 runs off a guy like Stewart. You could always say, well, it's the pitcher not having his best game, but Will, throughout this whole summer, I think a lot of times you could say the Bucs bats have just been way better than the pitcher at hand. It's not that Stewart is pitching a bad game.
And Stewart not getting any help from his defense. A couple of errors.
Right.
And Stolga's got to make that play, even if it's in fair territory. As this one's fouled out of play, Hankins staying alive, but you're just giving these Bucs batters who you've already had enough trouble retiring extra life at the plate.
And just the one walk tonight. And we've seen so many times the Bucs scoring a large amount of runs, especially in one inning, because of free passes and errors, but it's not the free passes. Just a lot of base hits.
In play to center, Logan Sanders will give way to Luke Stolga, who does in the end retire Josh Hankins, this time on the other side of his position in that right center field gap, but I'm sure he'll be happy to see that Hankins couldn't reach base.
100%. And he's still finding ways to get outs. The caught stealing really helped, and now he's got the 2 outs with the fly balls. Just struggled. The Bucs bats, he's running into top of the order, and they're ready to hit.
So Brody Briggs comes to the plate. He takes a ball. Briggs with a single last inning. Fouls the second pitch straight back.
I love Callahan's approach, first pitch hitting. Carlone had a longer at bat, but just it's hard as a pitcher up there for Stewart. You get long at bat, then you get that first pitch base hit. It's like, how do I pitch to these guys?
Especially when it's coming from so many different guys. It's not like there's one guy to pitch around.
Right.
8 base hits coming from 7 different players. Will Burns and Zane Kelly, the only guys who haven't reached base via hit, and Kelly standing on deck would love to get a chance here in the 3rd inning, and it'll be up to Brody Briggs whether or not that happens.
Deuce is wild. Maybe he can get some luck right here.
Would love to see that provided by you. 4 runs for the Bucs already in this 3rd. 5-0 lead over the Pilots. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and a good eye from Briggs runs the count full, and now Kelly just a ball away from coming to the plate with Briggs at first.
And the rain pretty steadily still going on here, so I want to make sure we get this game in.
Ground ball to Troy Sanders. He scoops it up, and the Pilots get the 3rd out, but the Bucs played 4 in the top of the 3rd inning. Good guys up 5-0 here in Anchorage. Back here for the bottom of the 3rd inning. Now 5-0 the Bucs lead it, and we've seen Carlone working quickly, and with this rain starting to pick up, need more of that to get these 5 in.
Yeah, really do. The rain really is starting to pick up. I know we're on turf fields, but Field can only hold too much. You got to remember there's grass out in the outfield.
First pitch is in play. Line out to Will Burns, and Carlone listening to what we have to say, huh?
He's got to be, but he knows the situation at hand. He knows this Bucs team can do a good job behind him as long as he just gets the Pilots to have weak contact. This infield and outfield so dominant for the Bucs, and for Carlone, he knows that if he just gets them involved, that's the quickest way to get to 5 full innings, and that's exactly what the Bucs need here to win this game because they're up 5-0. We get through 5. That's a complete game if we have to call it due to rain.
That was Chase Knight on the line out. Now Troy Sanders at the plate. He's ahead 2-0. 2-0 might not seem like much, but against Carlone today.
Yeah, it's a lot, and you'd think that the Pilots would start to make the adjustment, and maybe this is the inning, but off the first pitch for first bat for Chase Knight, that's not the case. And I think that also what's playing into it is they know that Carlone fills up the zone so well, and he's a big strike thrower, so they're thinking, well, if I see a couple pitches go by and try to lengthen the at-bat, well, I'm going to be in an 0-2 hole, and then I give myself an even worse shot.
This one right back to Carlone. He'll field his position like we've seen him do all season long, and boom, there's your second out.
And going back to that first play that he made, that ball was at knee level, and he did a great job of looking in. This one almost over his head. It was a little bit over his head. So just the awareness, and like I said, does a great job of getting himself into the fielding position after he makes the throw home. And I think it's so impressive that he's able to field balls that are at his knee level, being at 6'3", 6'4", and then able to field ones over his head, being at that tall as well.
So now Troy's brother Logan to the plate. He takes one inside, and Carlone's just got such good reaction time on the mound. Logan Sanders hits one right back our way. I'll admit it, I flinched on that one.
That almost got through, I will say. I feel like that one was really close.
Really happy that these windows are as strong as they are. My goodness.
I think it hit off that wood framing, but yeah, the window was really strong the first time. Man, that spooked both of us.
100%. 2 games in a row now we've had a scare up here, and these Pilots got to be scared of what they're seeing on the mound. 1-2 from Carlone, too far outside.
That one up in the zone. Carlone knew he could waste a pitch. Being ahead in the count, it definitely had a little more velo than the other ones.
Deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Carlone against Sanders, and just a hair outside. Much closer with that one, but Sanders does run the count full.
I like what Carlone is doing after that one, stepping off the hill a little bit, a quick deep breath, but still working pretty quickly.
Full count pitch. Out of play, foul.
Really like this at bat from Logan Sanders. He knows what he's seeing from Carlone. He knows that Carlone's going to challenge him. And it's probably going to be tough to get a ball thrown by Carlone here. He's just going to attack the zone.
And rightfully so. Another full count pitch. Grounder, and it'll be a chance for Will Burns. He backhands it and makes the throw across. Another 1-2-3 inning for Cole Carlone, who's cruising along, as are the Bucs, 5-0. Welcome back to the fourth inning. We'll have a new voice for your play-by-play momentarily, but first a new arm on the mound for the Pilots. It's Colton Haas.
Yeah, Haas making his 6th appearance is 0-1, has not started a game, so everything in relief. In 11 innings, he's given up 11 hits, 14 runs, 12 earned. That's a 9.82 ERA. He's just struggled this year.
Yeah, pitched against the Oilers back on the second, throwing 2 innings, giving up 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned, 3 walks, and 1 strikeout, so not ideal stuff from him that day, and he'll get started against Zane Kelly.
And Zane will foul that one back. After him, Will Burns, then Andrew Lamb, and Lamb got things started last inning with a leadoff double. Callahan drove him in with a single. Carlone got aboard with a single as well. Then Eisenstadt, an RBI single. And then Peyton Knowles. How about another single?
Hey, Kelly and Burns, the only ones yet to join the parade.
5 straight singles, or excuse me, 5 straight base hits for the Bucs, 4 of them being singles. Peyton Knowles, his single drove in too as Kelly hits this one well to right field, but it's going to hang up for Luke Stolga, who hauls it in for out number 1. So Kelly and Burns, who walks up to the plate, still have yet to reach base.
Go ahead and close the line on Tyler Stewart. 3 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned. Just 1 walk and 1 strikeout, but those hits really plaguing Stewart, and defense letting him down a little too.
So Burns trying to get on board for the first time tonight. Strikeout and a flyout back in the second. 4 runs coming across for the Bucs last inning. 1-0 count to Burns. Popped up, and it's going to be foul ground. That one might hit us over top.
Was waiting for that loud bang. Throw from Barajas, getting over Haas that time.
Wondered where could it go? Maybe it was hit further than we expected.
Love to see everyone getting active in the chat. Riley Hunsaker's mom asking us how we like those cookies.
Oh,
they were
goodness.
fantastic.
Yes.
Chocolate chip cookies with a full Oreo in the middle of them. I'd never seen it, but they are awesome.
They're great, and I'm hoping that there is a couple left because I put them out in the kitchen for, ooh, and Burns gets plunked. That one hits him right in the shoulder, so he's okay. Of course, missed that elbow guard completely, but back to the cookies. I'm hoping that there's some still out there. Might want to have a post-game snack, especially a victory cookie. Would be great.
Yeah, the only reason they're not gone yet is because you were hiding them from everyone for so long.
Well, I was.
Rightfully so.
I remember you asking me for one, and I was like, no, I ate them all. You
I-
believe me? I mean, they were
Did I?
good. I think you did. I get you sometimes.
Sometimes
Most-
you
but
do.
no,
You
most
try
times,
often.
I think. Batter is now Andrew Lamb, who takes a called strike.
And going back to Mrs. Hunsaker, hope that Riley can be back in the
Yeah.
lineup soon. Still dealing with that hamstring, but something that's bothered him for a while, so definitely
Since
something
high
that
school.
you got to be cautious with.
Yeah. Check back to first, nothing doing, but a hamstring injury is so tough because you just never really know when the perfect time to come back is. It's something that you could just test it as much as you can little by little, but once you really go 100% in the game, that's when you really can tell. Burns goes. Pitch is fouled back. Burns will have to come back. And Andrew Lamb had his family up here too, so I want to give a shout out to them. They went on the same tour, had the same tour guy I had, Matt from Alaska's Finest Tours, the Glacier Tours, and of course did not find out that Andrew Lamb was a part of the team until the end. That just shows you how humble of a guy Lamb is. But of course, wore it with pride when the tour guide found out, and he is a Bucs fan. Shout out to him, and I know I got a great tour, and I'm sure Lamb and his family enjoyed that as well. It was great seeing the Glaciers this past weekend.
I'll be excited to see him when my family comes to town
Oh, yeah.
shortly.
No balls, 2 strikes. Popped up, shallow right field, could be trouble. Going out, Troy Sanders, but coming in is Stolga. He makes the grab, and they get Burns at first base. He drifted too far off the bag, so it's a double play, and that's going to end the inning. So a couch out and right by Luke Stolga. Will Burns couldn't find his way back to first in time. A double play to end the inning. A 1-2-3 inning for the Pilots. We head to the bottom half of the 4th inning. They're still trying to strike. Bottom half of the fourth inning, Carlone back out there, looking for another quick 1-2-3 inning. Carlone has looked really sharp so far tonight.
He sure has. He's been sharp and efficient. And these Pilots, over this game and last, just struggling to find the answers.
And top of the order due up once again. Dylan Marks, Luke Hefner, Luke Stolga. First pitch is outside. Same three that he faced in the top of the first, obviously. Fly out from Dylan Marks, ground ball out from Hefner, and then a strikeout of Luke Stolga. Just the one strikeout. Just done a great job of making these short at-bats and getting these Pilots to put it in play and drawing weak contact.
It's hard to strike guys out when they can't last long enough to get them to 2 strikes.
1-1. That one's outside. And based off of the Sanders brothers and then now early on in the Dylan Marks at-bat, it seems like they are seeing a little bit more in terms of pitches from Carlone. 2-1. That one just misses upstairs. And probably a good job. The at-bat for Logan Sanders started out 2-0. Of course, he was able to get the ground ball out. But Carlone has just been pitching so well and able to get these Pilots to have quick at-bats, and might be something that he will only have just in the first couple innings as he gets a called strike.
Talked about Mrs. Hunsaker in the chat. We've also got Brody Purcell's grandparents watching. It was great getting a picture with Brody for them. Hopefully he's back soon.
3-2. Just gets a piece of it foul.
Just dealing with some soreness, and Coach Montez said he should be back in the next couple of days.
Yep. Definitely don't want to rush him back too fast. Now with everyone pretty healthy and ready to go, we can take an extended time. 3-2 just misses off the plate, and that one a little bit too high. Carlone wanted the call, but I think he understands where the spot was.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to bring that breaker, kind of freeze Marks on a pitch that he would think would stay high and kind of drop it in the top part of the zone. But Marks now the first base runner of the game for the Pilots.
Yeah, Carlone doing a good job of keeping traffic off the bases. Now just has to deal with Dylan Marks. He's the leadoff batter that reached, and this is hit well into left field. Callahan broke in, but that one is way over his head, and it goes all the way to the wall. Dylan Marks is going to get the green light. He's going to score with ease. Will Burns just getting the cutoff ball. But just like that, an RBI double from Luke Hefner makes it a 5-1 game.
Yeah, first base runner was Marks, and then the very next pitch, Hefner with the first base hit. It's in the form of a double, and it plates a run for the Pilots. First real hard-hit ball on a line that we've seen from the Pilots so far today, and I guess so far off of Carlone all season, going back to that start on the third. But luckily for Carlone, 5 runs already for the Bucs. He can relax, settle in, and just make sure that he takes care of the hitters who are in front of him.
So that RBI double by Hefner, the first base hit for the Pilots. Now the batter, Luke Stolga. Callahan initially broke a little bit in, but it wouldn't have mattered. That ball was way over his head anyway. But it's so hard to read some of those balls out to the outfield. I think Montez is going to come out, have a word with Carlone, and probably buy pitchers in the bullpen sometime. Right after that double, you could see Coach Dunham and some of the bullpen arms, as well as Dylan Maltby, one of the catchers, go out to the bullpen and start getting ready.
By my count, just 37 pitches so far for Carlone, so would think he's got a while left to go, but at the same time, don't want to push him too far, and you know that things can unravel quick, so more than anything, might just want to have someone warming in the bullpen just in case. And for Carlone, also maybe Coach Montez just wants him to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, Carlone doesn't work like lightning fast, but definitely has a good pace to him. So this might be not just to buy some time, but just to also calm Carlone down a little bit. Still nobody out here for Luke Stolga. There is no force, so something on the ground on the left side would be preferable for Carlone to limit the damage.
Looks like the rain has slowed down or maybe even come to a halt. Tough for us to see behind our window here, but I think it stopped for the moment.
Yeah, maybe just a little mist out there, but nothing crazy. So Luke Stolga with a 1-ball, no strike count. Could just be that Monty realized something with the mechanics a little bit off this inning compared to the last. This is fouled out of play, and a little bit surprised that the issues are coming here, considering that after that 4-run third inning, you'd think that a long time on the bench sitting down might affect him, but that was not a very long top half for the Bucs bats. Carlone brings another 1-1, and that one's up and away.
I mean, I think it's unfair to say that he's really struggled, just walked a batter by a few inches, and then, yes, the one mistake to Hefner, but nothing catastrophic or consistent trends of worry so far for Carlone.
2-1 just gets a piece of it foul, and it looks like the guys up in the bullpen are kind of just standing around waiting if Carlone gets into more trouble, and then maybe they'll start warming up. But that just shows you the trust out there. They're not going out there and immediately warming up expecting this one run to lead to 2 to 3 runs. Instead, just going out there just in case if you can't find that command. 2-2 misses upstairs. Count runs full.
We saw more balls than usual from Carlone last inning, but he was able to battle back against those hitters and get things back together, especially Logan Sanders.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Luke Stolga. The pitch, that one misses, and it's not really that close. Carlone, after just missing to Dylan Marks, has a big miss and a 3-2 count to Stolga. But it does give the Bucs defense a force out. They can go at any base. So we'll see the middle infield try to roll a double play, as well as, of course, Hankins and Tommy Eisenstadt at first. Jacob Coase grabs a bat. That was just the second walk for Carlone, but both of them coming in this inning. After a whole bunch of zeros for the Pilots, they have a threat here. There's a called strike onto Coase. Junior Barajas awaiting on deck.
Left side of the field's got to be ready. Coase with a ground out to third, a fly out to third the first time against Carlone, and then a fly out to left center so far today.
0-1. Popped him up. In the infield, Peyton Knowles, the second baseman, calls everyone off, and that's a quick and easy out for Cole Carlone, just what he needed.
Yeah, it looked like the umpire pointed for the infield fly on that one. But yeah, like you said, some weak contact for Carlone, and huge to get that first out. Now with guys at first and second, a ground ball could end this 4th inning.
And Barajas, being that he is a catcher, is the perfect candidate. Though it doesn't strike you as a catcher based off of just his body image. Standing pretty tall out there. But definitely is filled out and definitely looks like he could be a catcher.
We've seen him be the designated hitter for the Pilots pretty often since he joined the team.
1-0 quickly to him. He grounds this to second. Knowles flips to Burns for one on the first. Double play! Cole Carlone gets the ground ball he needed. He just gives up the 1 run on 1 base hit and 2 walks for the Pilots. So a good way to get out of that jam. The ground ball double play does it. Now a 5-1 lead for the Bucs as we head to the 5th. Welcome to the 5th inning. Pilots getting 1 run back on a RBI double from Luke Hefner last inning. But Carlone, after the second walk in the, of course, double by Luke Hefner, was able to get a ground ball double play out of Junior Barajas. It was a 4-6-3 turn by the middle infield. That gives the Bats another chance to add on to their 5-run lead. It's Ryan Callahan to lead things off, and Colton Haas throws that one way up and away to him. 4-1. Callahan, Carlone, and Eisenstadt due up. Interesting seeing Eisenstadt batting in the 5-hole. Usually a 3 to 4 hole batter. So I guess it's not super far down, as this one's popped up into left field, but going out is Luke Hefner, and he will actually take that for out number 1. But like I said, shouldn't be too out of the ordinary to see Eisenstadt batting 5th, but we know him to be a guy that's always batting in that 3 or 4 hole.
Well, it's usually right after Carlone, and we're seeing Carlone 4th tonight, which is a spot or 2 or even 3 lower than we're used to from him. So a little bit, because that, and there's just so many hitters who deserve to be towards the top of this lineup. Ryan Callahan up there tonight.
Carlone grabs the bat, chance to help himself out again, but he grounds this one out to second. Troy Sanders has it. The peg to first is in time. 2 very quick outs from these Bucs bats, and I like that Coach Springman and, of course, all the other coaches are doing a good job of shaking up this lineup a little bit. We saw Carlone batting leadoff for a couple games. We saw Burns before today batting leadoff a couple games, and Andrew Lamb has moved up in the lineup.
Yep.
Ryan Callahan's been somewhat more of a mainstay in that 3-hole, but I like how they really like to have Carlone and Eisenstadt tandeming one after the other. That seems to be a very common thing, and change is good in baseball, but too much change can always come back to bite you. So I like that they keep that similar. I like that they keep Callahan in a similar spot as well. Peyton Knowles always bats towards the middle of the lineup, and it looks like Monty.
Super smart play here, because Carlone just grounded out and then had to run back to the dugout. So I think more than anything, Monty just buying his pitcher some time. We saw Eisenstadt take that strike. I think he would have took no matter what pitch it was just to buy Carlone some time. And now I think Monty doing that even further, if I had to guess.
Yeah, Will, great recognition on that. Something that I don't even know if I would have picked up on. Maybe he was in the middle of talking about something else, but...
And a smile from Eisenstadt. I can't imagine he'd be smiling ear to ear if it was a more serious conversation.
Yeah, we saw Monty do that earlier on in the season. I can't remember the circumstance.
It was, I think, Max Ross at the plate.
And he was just trying to get into the pitcher's head.
And it worked. It was a full count, and the pitch was a ball.
So we'll see if that gives Carlone a little bit more time. This one's grounded out to short. Taking it is Luke Hefner. The throw is in time. So either way, Carlone is going to be right back out on the hill for another inning worth of work. We will head to the bottom half of the 5th, and we hope to see him back out there. Lead still at 5-1 for the Bucs as we head to break. Quickly back for the bottom half of the 5th inning. I'm assuming because Carlone's already got that blood flowing, getting an at-bat and running to first base. He doesn't need that many warm-up pitches, and that's just the case. So just a couple, and he's already ready to go. He will face 6, 7, and 8. Owen Hayes to start. The first pitch to him is right down A Street for a called strike. Hayes flew out to the right fielder, Andrew Lamb, in his first at-bat. Carlone gave up just the 1 run on the 1 hit last inning. This one is outside.
And still under 50 pitches here in the 5th inning, and because of that, we're only an hour and 10 minutes into this one, and we were just saying during the break, we'd just be starting the 3rd inning back last game.
And not that we want it to be a quick game, but it's kind of funny. Where'd the wet rain go? You know, now the rain is totally subsided, it seems, and we might have we might play a full game out, which is perfectly fine considering the lead going on. If you're the Bucks, you want to get a couple more runs just for some insurance. 2-1, just missing upstairs, and that is where Carlone's been missing tonight. And it's interesting because in that combined no-no, he was really working up in the zone. But the thing was, he was just getting so many more chase and misses from those batters. 3-1. That one's upstairs. And a 5-pitch walk is going to prompt a mound visit from Brody Briggs, and I wonder if it might be close to time. Andrew Rudd has grabbed a baseball and has started warming up in the bullpen for the Bucs.
Monty staying in his chair at least for now.
So
using that walkie-talkie there to tell Coach Dunham what he might need out of that bullpen. Maybe time for Rudd to start ramping things up. And just weird to see from Carlone that he was just pounding the zone the first couple of innings and just hasn't quite had the command.
It's the swing and misses, I think. Not that many strikeouts for him. And what I really hope to see is that he makes that adjustment and he realizes he's not getting that up in the zone call, and he doesn't want to go too far down and give something nice to hit. This one is hit right back up the middle. Burns steps on 2, goes to first base, and how about a double play to erase that walk?
That'll surely help. Great play by Will Burns to focus on getting that ball into his glove, but still have the peace of mind to tap that foot on second base and then calm down and make a strong throw over to Eisenstadt, and that sure does eliminate Owen Hayes.
And that might also eliminate Cole Carlone from pitching in this game. So Monty comes out to the mound, and they're bringing the home plate umpire out there too. I wonder if his landing spot where he comes down is a little bit messed up, and that's exactly what they're digging at. And I'm not sure if Monty saw something on Carlone's landing foot when he threw that pitch, or maybe if it was after the ball was in his glove for the ground ball out, he saw maybe something slip. But it was a good throw to Burns at short, so it didn't affect the play.
And that carpet, more or less, on the mound, I believe, new this year, and we haven't really had any rainy games. The only rain for our home schedule canceled that first game of the year, or postponed it, I should say. So we haven't really seen how it can sustain rain up until now. And I guess Monty noticing something from the dugout, maybe Cole Carlone telling him that he's just not comfortable with the way he's been landing.
Yeah, I wonder what it was, because there wasn't any time for Monty to have a one-on-one with Carlone between that last at-bat, obviously.
Maybe just saw him slip.
Maybe just buying time for Rudd.
Wouldn't put it past him.
I know.
Savvy guy.
Yeah, Monty is so slick with it, too. You wouldn't think just meeting him that he'd pull off some of the stuff that he does, but he's very smart when it comes to that. And bringing another umpire here, there's no grounds crew of any sorts. So,
and given that it's turf, I don't really know what you could do. Obviously, on a real dirt mound, you could add some dirt, you can pat it down, but with this, you don't really have all that flexibility.
So interesting. At least Carlone was able to make the play, and now that's the third comebacker that he has taken with ease. Just such a great job. So mark that as a 1-6-3 double play. That walk is totally eliminated and really helps the pitch count if Carlone wants to keep continuing here. So Troy Sanders now, who grounded out to Carlone, who's on the mound. I think that they were just telling Rich Price, the head coach of the Pilots, what was the issue out on the mound. But Rudd now should be ready to go at any time. See if Carlone can get through this inning as this is flared to center field. Long run for Zane Kelly, and he flashes the leather for out number 3. So one pitch takes care of Troy Sanders. And all Carlone needed was that fly ball and the ground ball double play after the leadoff walk. He faces the minimum. The score's still 5-1. Good guys are up when we come back. Top 6, and last inning, a double play rolled just by Burns himself, and I apologize. I don't know why I was thinking that was a 1-6-3. Just had a couple plays come back to Carlone's way, and he's made both of them. Made me think that he had a third one in store, but of course, could have one next inning. But with Andrew Rudd warming up, and we saw Carlone heading back to the clubhouse, he is coming back out now. I don't know if we'll see him out there for another inning, but his pitch count reflects that he could be out there for another inning. Well,
Yeah, I got him at 54 so far, so we'll just have to wait and see, but hopefully a long wait with some runs on the board before we see that.
batter is Peyton Knowles, and Knowles has had a great night so far for the Bucs. He had an RBI or 2 RBI single in his last at bat in the third, and walked and stole a bag and came around to score back in the second. He was the first runner to score for the Bucs back in that second inning. But that 2 RBI single capped it off with advancing to second base, and he was really fired up. 2-1. Fouls this one out of play.
Yeah, those are the last 2 runs the Bucs have scored, and 3-1 versus 5-1. Obviously, the Pilots hadn't scored yet, but those have 2 very different feels to them, and always so key to just keep adding on, and Knowles being a big part of that.
2-2. In on the hands, pops it foul. Long run for Baraja. So that one's going to make its way on the overhang we have over in front of us.
And like you said, that air pod from Barajas, and no pitch comm, at least that we can see on the pitcher, so likely just getting some calls from the dugout and then relaying them to his pitcher.
Next one just gets a piece of it.
I'm just a little curious how those AirPods would work if he doesn't have a device on him. Think they could reach all the way to the dugout? Connecting to a device? Because they got to be connected to something. You can't just have an AirPod.
I feel like it could. I don't see anything in his back pocket. 2-2, that one's outside. Could it possibly just be, because there's no, you can't do pitch comm here, right? In summer league? I don't think you could do pitch comm. Maybe it's just comfortability. Maybe at school he wears it, and maybe just likes having it in his ear. 3-2, misses outside, nowhere near. Leadoff walk for Peyton Knowles. Just had the one at bat with the 2 walks.
Haven't been able to retire him, though.
Josh Hankins, who singled back in the second inning.
Batting next for the Bucs, number 6, Josh Hankins.
Rudd is sat down a little bit, or at least is standing out there in the bullpen. Should be ready to go, though, if the Bucs do want to pull Carlone, and that one almost hit Josh Hankins.
Buzz the tower, that's for sure.
Middle infield want to turn 2 here, so they're pinching up the middle. Next one is in tying a little low to Josh Hankins. 2 balls, no strikes. First game of 3 with the Pilots in this Mayor's Cup. Tomorrow the Bucs will be the home team, and then back to the away team on Sunday. 1-0. Popped him up, foul. Wind has totally died down here, as well as the rain.
Don't have the exact date on the last few years, but from 2013 to 2019, every team that won Game 1 went on to win the series.
1-1 misses inside, and that's not shocking, because with the limited amount of actual series in summer ball, assume that, a team gets hot winning that first game, and even if they lose the second one, feel like they still have the upper hand. 2-1 is smashed into left field. Long run for the left fielder Jacob Cozen at the warning track, just able to haul that one in. Tagging from first is Peyton Knowles, and he's going to be in there safely. That ball was on line to second, but it was just too far out in left field from Coz. And a good job by Peyton Knowles snagging that extra bag. Josh Hankins just missing a home run, and he's a little bit irritated, but smiles and wipes it off, and hopefully we'll forget about it. But like I said, really crushed that baseball, just got under it.
Yeah, just hit a little bit too high for it to get out, especially here. Absolutely no wind to speak of, but with that low altitude and the wood bat, not going to get one out hitting it that high. But heads up by Knowles, knowing that Coz was kind of off balance, wouldn't be able to get a ton on the throw.
So Brody Briggs with one down and a runner in scoring position. He lines this into center field, but it's right in line with Logan Sanders, who makes the grab. Peyton Knowles will have to retreat, 2 down.
Yeah, unfortunate. Briggs put it in play, which is obviously what you want to see with Knowles over there at second, but Sanders, a pretty sure-handed center fielder. We see him up to some tricks sometimes with runners on base, but gloved that one in a usual manner.
So Zane Kelly, the 9-hole batter, has flown out in his 2 lone appearances, the only Buck to not reach base yet. I'm sure that could change in an instant. Swings a great bat. First pitch he sees, he hits the other way into left field, but Coase will track it down for the 3rd out. So Peyton Knowles gets himself on with a leadoff walk, but 3 straight flyouts is all the Pilots needed to take care of the Bucs, and it looks like we will have a new pitcher on. We'll tell you more about him, and we'll give you the final line on Cole Carlone when we come back. 5-1 lead still for the Bucs here in Anchorage. Welcome back. Bottom half of the 6th inning. I teased a new pitcher, and it is going to be Andrew Rudd who comes out for the Bucs to relieve a great night from Cole Carlone. But coming into this game, Rudd in his 7th appearance is 2-0, but has not started. He's is only pretty much a bullpen arm. In 15 2/3 innings, how about this? 12 hits, 1 earned run, .57 ERA. The only one lower in ERA is Garvey Rummery with a .52, but those guys have just been absolute nails all year for the Bucs.
And he last pitched on Monday in game 1 of that doubleheader against the Miners, working the 7th and final inning. 2 hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts.
And for Cole Carlone, his night comes to an end.
Yep, 5 innings, just the 1 earned run.
Now back with the play-by-play. Or excuse me, it's still me. I'm all out of whack, but go back to Carlone.
Hey, it's tough when we share a ballpark. I know it can be confusing. Carlone, 5 innings, 1 earned run, just the 1 strikeout, a low number for him, but hey, only 1 hit, so he'll take it. Also 3 walks.
So the batter is now Logan Sanders here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Been playing so many home games, used to the Bucs batting last. 0-2, hit up the middle, and it's going to be out of the reach of Will Burns. Another base hit, just the 2nd base hit for the Pilots.
Yeah, tough for Rudd. Got the ball on the ground, which is what you want, but it was hit pretty sharply by Logan Sanders. Going to be tough to turn 2 with Sanders and Marks, but if balls hit sharply, could have a chance.
Dylan Marks, a walk and a fly out. He's the only one to come around to score for the Pilots on that RBI double from Luke Kiefner. Scored first to home, and Rudd has his first play. He'll take it himself. How about it? Andrew Rudd doing a good job. Eisenstadt was going for the ball, so that took him out of the question for making an attempt at the out. But Andrew Rudd, recognizing that, was able to collect it and just keep on running.
Yeah, that was the play. There was nobody really ready to cover first base, and Rudd's momentum was already taking him there to get the ball, so might as well just keep chugging along, and obviously had no play at second, so really just managed that well.
So Luke Kiefner who has done the only bit of real damage here. The RBI double back in the 4th inning off of Cole Carlone. And that one skips away from Briggs. And heading to third is Logan Sanders.
I think they're going to say that hit Luke Hefner.
So Logan Sanders will have to return back to second. So it would be a dead ball. It clips Luke Hefner, which honestly, considering how that could have gone, a runner at third base and starting a 1-0 count to Hefner, who already has the RBI double. I'm sure the Bucs don't mind now having a force out and Luke Stolga bat.
Yeah, it helps the chances of the Bucs keeping the Pilots off the board as a whole, but it does help the Pilots' chances of plating multiple runs. So depends on how you look at it.
So Stolga walked and struck out in his 2 appearances. First one, beautiful breaking ball from Rudd in zone.
Great pitch to start off, Stolga. Started a little bit inside and bring it in over the plate and get yourself ahead 0-1.
Wind still died down here. Nothing really going at any direction. Flag's totally at standstill. 0-1 is rocketed through the left side. That's going to be a base hit. They're going to hold up Logan Sanders at third base. The bases will be loaded with just 1 out. They bring the tying run to the plate in the form of Jacob Coase.
And like you said, that ball was rocketed, and because of it, Coach Rich Price with a pretty immediate stop sign for Logan Sanders, but didn't want to see this tying run come to the plate in a 4-run lead.
So Rudd now in a big jam. Does have the force out at any base. Love to get a ground ball here. Coase pretty speedy, but he hit something sharp. He could turn it. It was slow and long swing and miss at that point.
Yeah, Rudd may be taking advantage of the situation, knowing that Coase might be trying to do a lot with it and give him a pitch he can't do much with. Slow breaker.
0-1, and that one a big swing and a miss too. Both of these pitches, Rudd seemingly just more dominant than Coase. Totally has him fooled. See if he can get a third one by him. Middle infield pinching towards second base. Ground ball foul. Could have been trouble, but just outside the line. Eisenstadt and Hankins are pretty far up on the grass. I wouldn't say they're at infield end level.
Middle infield. At double play depth, especially Will Burns, pretty close to that second base bag. Little delay as Andrew Lamb had to go get that ball.
Looks like Jeremiah Arnett has also started tossing in the bullpen. Be just in case. Rudd comes set, no balls, 2 strikes. The pitch, swung on and missed. Jacob Coase down on strikes, just took 4 pitches to retire him, and now Rudd has got 2 down.
Yeah, there goes Coase. Great job by Rudd. Really overpowered in that entire sequence, and an absolutely huge strikeout with the bases loaded, because now with 2 outs, defensively the Bucs can play things straight up.
So now Junior Barajas, the birthday boy. A chance with a big birthday hit, but the Bucs want to save that one maybe for another day. This one's grounded out to second. Noel's going to go the easy way. Close play at second, but they got him. And Rudd, after loading the bases, is able to get a strikeout and a ground ball out, and the Bucs narrowly escape that jam. The lead is still 5-1 as we head to the 7th. Top half of the 7th inning. A little bit of a longer break because Cole Carlone had to go out there and fix that mound, which is kind of funny. So that's all settled. Will Burns grabs a bat. Still is Haas on the mound, and back with the play-by-play. Here's Will Hopkins.
Thank you very much, Vic. Yeah, Carlone pitching, hitting, groundskeeping.
What can't he do?
That's what I'm saying. So like you said, Burns at the plate, hitless so far, but did reach via hit by pitch last time up. Squares this one to center field, but the ballpark will hold it. Logan Sanders, it's one of the deeper balls we've seen hit to dead center this season.
That's about as deep as you're going to hit it, to be honest, in center field at least, Will. It's 400 out there, and just with the altitude and the thinner air, it's so hard to drive that ball out to center field.
Now Andrew Lamb to the plate. 2 for 3 so far. Single and a double. Takes one a little bit high from Haas. 31st pitch from Haas, that one. 1-0's outside for Lamb his last time up. A fly out to super shallow right field, and the man on first, Will Burns, kind of in between, because if he stayed too close to first and the ball dropped, he would have been gunned at second on the force, and in the end just strayed too far from first base and still got the ball over there, and not really much he could do about it. Thought that Lamb might have found a spot, but not to be. Ahead 3-0 here, though. See if he's swinging away or just leaves the bat on his shoulder. And rightfully leaves it on his shoulder, way up and outside. A 4-pitch walk for Andrew Lamb and a base runner for the Bucs, who haven't had a hit since the 3rd inning.
Yeah, and it just goes back to Haas coming in and doing a really good job and in place for Stewart and getting ground balls and a lot of flyouts from these Bucs hitters who are hitting it pretty well. A little surprised they haven't gotten a hit in that long. But he has he's given up 2 walks, so at least the Bucs still have good plate discipline out there besides the no hits against Haas.
Yeah, and for Lamb, that just adds to a great day. 2 hits, a run, another hits, a double, and now a walk to his name. Ryan Callahan, who's 1 for 3 so far now, has scored a run and knocked one in. Lamb fakes the steal and pitches outside from Haas. After Callahan, it'll be Carlone coming to the plate for the first time as a designated hitter without being on the mound anymore. Gets to stay in the game as the pitch is inside.
Always really like that because, especially with Carlone, obviously know he can hit too, and it's kind of always sad when they come out of the game. I was like, I'm not going to see them again. They've been doing so well, and that goes with any pitcher, but for Carlone especially, comes out of the game when he doesn't hit. It's kind of like, man, you're just done. That's it. That's all we see from him. But here, at least we can see him still get to hit and still play and make an impact for the team, which is great. Just brings you back to like Little League almost, in a sense.
Yep. Other than Shohei Ohtani, you don't really get to see it very often. 3-0 almost hit Callahan. It's still ball 4, and that's 8 straight balls from Colton Haas.
Yeah, and he gave up 1 walk last inning, and that's the only thing he's been struggling with, really. Just those base on balls, but just has to figure out a way to work around these Bucs guys, and just not a lot of options. And going back to Shohei Ohtani, and it's a great example, but also in MLB now, back in, when pitchers used to hit, once they're out of the game, they don't hit anymore. So it really brings you back to that kind of Little League aspect of it.
100%. Not an easy guy to work around now with Carlone, who swings and misses at the first pitch. And we see some big swings and misses from Carlone on the first pitch of many of these at-bats, but if he doesn't come up with contact, he usually zeroes back in and kind of shortens up his approach later in the at-bat. Not a big strikeout guy, really puts everything in play. A 1-check swing back to the pitcher. He'll go to third for 1. Long throw across to first, and that's not going to beat out Carlone, but a good job from Haas to get the lead runner. Just wonder if he had gone to second instead, if he would have maybe been able to turn 2.
Yeah, that might have been the better play, and of course you do get the lead runner, but you get that double play and the inning is over. Carlone is pretty quick out there, but I agree with you, Will. I think he just should have gone to second, would have had definitely a better chance at getting the double play, but Carlone made it down the line so quick just in that throw. from third base, I don't know. I mean, it's tough to tell.
So now Tommy Eisenstadt, he fouls the first one off. Still 2-1. Callahan over to second. Carlone at first now from the fielder's choice.
See if that comes back to bite Haas. Could have been out of the inning.
2 errors for the Pilots. We saw Stolga drop a ball in foul territory. And that play from Haas wouldn't have surely been 2, but definitely a better chance. Not very often you see a pitcher make that throw over to third base.
No, not really.
No balls and a strike to Eisenstadt. He puts this one in play up the middle. Another chance for Haas. This time a more conventional toss over to first base. Fields his position well. Holds the Bucs scoreless for the 4th consecutive inning. Time to stretch here at Mulcahy Stadium. Bucs lead at 5-1. Hope you had a good 7th inning stretch. Bucs leading game 1 of the 2024 Mayor's Cup by a score of 5-1. And with the Mayor's Cup, I guess it's kind of a shame we haven't mentioned it yet. For those of you who aren't familiar, maybe some of the out-of-town fans, the mayor of Anchorage, Alaska, Suzanne LaFrance, feel like should make that known in a game like this. Andrew Rudd still on the bump for the Bucs. They'll face 6, 7, and 8. First of which is Owen Hayes, who hits this one way up in the air. Should be an easy play for Tommy Eisenstadt in foul territory. And 2 pitches retires the first batter in the bottom of the 7th.
That's what you love to see from Andrew Rudd after giving up the leadoff base hit last inning and struggling a little bit, the hit by pitch, and then another base hit by Stolga eventually loaded the bases up with just the 1 out and was able to get the strikeout ground out. So, early, quick at bat, and getting that out is so big against Owen Hayes, and hoping for the same against Chase Knight.
Starts him off with a strike. No balls and 1 strike, and this one lined right past Rudd for a base hit. Good stuff from Chase Knight just to put good wood on it, and unfortunately for Rudd, just couldn't stab it.
Yeah, and that's the 3rd base hit off Rudd in just the 1 1/3 inning he's pitched. And they're seeing him really well in terms of Logan Sanders, Stolga, and then now Chase Knight. But the way things have been going, wouldn't be surprised if you get a rollover from Troy Sanders. It would be a tough double play.
First pitch misses to Troy Sanders. And talking about the Mayor's Cup, would love to give some more context for those of you who maybe aren't as familiar and just getting involved with the Alaska Baseball League and these Bucs. As Red will first deliver a 1-0 to Sanders, which is bounced foul. Started in 1990. A local talk show host and sportscaster, Dick Lobdell, and the mayor's press secretary talked about having this cup to the then mayor, Tom Fink, and the Bucs and the Pilots weren't in the same league at that time, but they agreed to it. And in 1990, other than 2020 due to COVID, they've been playing every year since as Sanders swings and misses. And Pilots leading the all-time series 22-11. Bucs haven't won since 2018, but Bucs off to a great start to get that cup back, and was in the locker room before the game, and I saw it written on the whiteboard to get that cup back. They want it. Slow roller down the third base line, and it's great job by Brody Briggs to communicate with Josh Hankins there, saying, hey, leave it, because first of all, Hankins probably had no play at the speedy Troy Sanders, but second of all, Briggs just reading the spin on that baseball, and he was right, that thing rolled foul.
It's a great job by Briggs because Hankins, at the end of the day, has to do his job, and you know his one thing on his mind is, how am I going to get to this ball? How am I going to pick it up? His thought isn't really, should I let this go fair? Should I let this go foul? Because that's what you let a guy like Briggs do. Your catcher is the captain of the infield. He doesn't have to make that play, but he knows that he's the sole reason and the sole voice behind the decision that Hankins is going to make. So good job. Hankins always has to be ready to make that play. You always have to be thinking that that's a fair ball and that I've got to make that play no matter what. And a good job by Briggs. This, not at the last second, but the whole time letting him know to let it go.
And then he gets Troy Sanders on strike, so Briggs saving the day, and then Rudd finishing off the second baseman.
And Briggs is just such a good catcher, such a good leader, and such a good guy to get behind. And you could see him talking to Monty over there in the dugout after that last one, and probably saying that he likes that pitch and he thinks that might be working really well for Rudd. And we'll see if he goes back to it.
And Briggs, as Sanders takes the ball, just a rising sophomore at Arizona State. I guess maybe even a redshirt freshman after not playing his freshman year there, but you would not know how young he is or that he doesn't have experience at the college level.
So beyond his years.
1-0 right back up the middle, and that's going to get through for a base hit. Second base hit we've seen in this inning, just right past Rudd, and unfortunately too fast for Knowles to get over there in time.
Yeah, and Rudd just getting unlucky. Not that the Pilots aren't putting good swings on it. They're hitting it up the middle. They're doing their job, but getting unlucky in the sense that Carlone made almost every play that was hit back up the middle. Those were not hit as hard by these Pilots bats, but still kind of up there thinking, well, I just watched Carlone pitch at Jim, and he had all these balls back to him, and he made the play, and now I'm just getting rockets off the bats of these Pilots guys.
Dylan Marks, who's hitless so far, comes to the plate with a couple of men aboard, but 2 outs. Bucs looking to end this threat from the home team here in the 7th inning. 5-1, the Bucs lead it, and a first pitch strike to Dylan Marks, who is the designated hitter, was originally looking like he was going to play in the outfield, but some late lineup changes switched things around. We've seen Barajas as a DH. We're going to see Chadwick behind the plate, but Logan Sanders coming into play, and then Chadwick was scratched. That put Barajas behind the plate and throw down to second. Not in time. Good job by Knowles, though. Kind of slipped and fell, but secured that baseball and tried to put the tag on Knight.
Yeah, and if that one is any closer to the third base side as second, they've got a really close play at Barajas, who was drifting really far off the bag. Just a little bit offline out of the slot from Briggs.
1 ball and 1 strike to Dylan Marks. Swing and a miss. Had him looking a bit awkward up there.
Yeah, it looks like a sinker ball or something darting down. Doesn't necessarily look like the changeup. I feel like he'd bury that low and into a righty batter, but something that just drops off the table. Or might that never be on the table, but it's just totally fooling these batters right now.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Dylan Marks. Spikes this one in the dirt. Great job by Brody Briggs to keep Knight and Sanders from being able to advance.
Again, his whole body in front. Just saw that 1 ball skip away from him, and it was a really weird, wild pitch. Had a funky spin. It almost crawled up his bodyguard and hit off of his shoulder.
Deuce is wild in the home half of the 7th. Soft grounder on the right side. Rudd grabs it, and he'll step on first himself for out number 3. A couple of Pilots left stranded, but no runs come across. Still 5-1. The Bucs lead it as we head to the 8th. top of the 8th inning. Colton Haas still out there for the Pilots, set to begin his 5th inning of work.
Why not? He's looked really good. And after that 4-run third inning that was Stewart's inning, he has just been nails, and he's laid up 4 goose eggs. The Bucs haven't really done much of anything. Actually, nothing besides hit by pitch and some walks.
Yeah, 3 walks, hit by pitch, no hits so far.
Yeah.
Haas's latest pitch there is 43rd by my count.
And 8 hits in the first 3 full innings. That's really good from the Bucs.
See if Peyton Knowles can get things back on track in the hit department. Would definitely be a good candidate. Already has a hit as well as 2 walks, so been a tough guy for both Haas and Stewart to retire tonight. And now just a ball away from taking first for the 4th time with his 3rd walk.
Looks like Rudd's day is done. Arnett has been up warming in the bullpen, so I'm assuming he's going to come out.
And there's ball 4, so Knowles does take his 3rd walk. Another long look to the dugout, and Josh Hankins has come to the plate now for the 4th time with Peyton Knowles on base.
I think Knowles is sick of it. I don't think he likes walking anymore. Maybe after the first couple times he was liking it, but he wants probably a little bit something more to show for it. But he does have that 2 RBI singles, so he's done a good job in that aspect, but I'm sure that he'll take it either way.
First pitch strike to Hankins, and we'll have to keep an eye on Knowles at first. He's been running all over the base paths tonight.
And I like, even though he was caught stealing back in the 3rd inning, he's still going at it, and that doesn't scare him away. Anytime he gets caught, don't expect him to just shy away from going in the next time he gets on base, because he doesn't.
And we've seen that for the Bucs as a whole this year. A lot of stolen base attempts, and they've been caught some, but they think at the rate they're stealing, it's worth it.
Yeah, they lead the league by a good bit, but they also are 2nd in stolen bases total.
Yep.
Wow, the Miners.
Great ratio for them. 50 stolen bases to just 7 caught stealings. Ball in the dirt, but good job by Barajas to keep Knowles from advancing.
Wow, 50 to 7 caught stealing. Man.
Maybe they should be, but that's the thing, with only 7, you could say, hey, you should be running even more.
Right, you're exactly right.
2 balls and a strike, and now 3 balls and a strike. That pitch, the 50th for Haas, at least in my count, already has 4 walks and a hit by pitch, and now in danger of walking Hankins. Haas misses inside, so a 4-pitch walk followed by a 5-pitch walk, and with no outs here in the top of the 8th, that puts 2 guys on for Brody Briggs.
Yeah, and that's been Haas's downfall, is just the walks. That's now the 5th walk he has given up against this Bucs team, and also the hit by pitch coming back in the 4th inning. But double play back in the 4th, and was able to get 3 fly balls in the 6th after that walk, and Fielder's choice, ground ball last inning, but looks like that's going to be it. Probably the wise decision from Price.
Yeah, not going to have a chance to get out of this jam. It'll be a new man on the mound for the Pilots. We'll let you know who it is when we come back. still here in the top of the 8th. A couple of guys on for the Bucs, and the man trying to silence the Riley is Jake Dodge.
Yeah, and then for his 4th appearance, he's not pitched much, is mainly a first base and DH for the Pilots. 4 1/3 inning, 7 hits, 5 earned runs. He's really struggled in just his small sample size.
Last time out, all the way back on June 25th. Worked 1 1/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and no strikeouts for the lefty. Dodge facing the lefty Brody Briggs, who squares to bunt, gets one down the third base line, but that's going to roll just foul.
Yeah, not a bad decision at all by the Bucs coaching staff, and a good bunt by Briggs, just didn't get it down the line enough, and it just trickles foul.
For Colton Haas, fantastic stuff, giving these Pilots longevity. Can't quite close the line on him, as Knowles at second and Hankins at first are his responsibility, but he'll definitely be rooting hard for Dodge to try to get out of this. Briggs showing bunt again, pulls it away, 1-1.
For the Bucs, would love to pad their lead a little bit, get some more insurance. Like I said, we saw that tying run come up to the plate when the bases were loaded. Don't want to see that again. Don't want to see that be an option for the Pilots.
Definitely not. Briggs squaring, gets this one down in fair territory down the third base line, and he's going to beat it out. I'm not sure why Chase Knight picked that up. Not sure if he got a call off from Barajas, as we saw Briggs do when he was behind the plate, but that ball looked like it might have been going foul, and Chase Knight thinking he's got a catcher running, but Brody Briggs is not your typical catcher.
And well, it didn't really matter whether the ball was going foul or not, because of the fact that it just took so long for Chase Knight to make up his mind. And not just that, but took a long time to get to the ball in general. By that time, Briggs was more than halfway down the line. So if you let that ball go foul, one, it's either going foul, or one, he just has an infield base hit either way. So the best decision there would have just been to not touch it at all. If it goes foul, great. If it doesn't, well, you would have been safe either way. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. And he runs the risk of throwing it away, too, if he rushes the throw.
100%. So Zane Kelly up with the bases loaded in a huge spot. Even count 1-1, looking for his first hit, and boy, does he have a chance to really break this game open.
That was the first base hit. I'm assuming that would obviously go down as a base hit for Briggs, and first base hit since the third inning, excuse me.
It's been a while, that's for sure. Way up and into Kelly, who backs out of the way, but yeah, like I was saying, Haas really doing a good job in those middle innings. Struggled with the walks a little bit, but most importantly for him, kept the Bucs off the scoreboard, and like you said, kept them out of the hit column as well. Dodge ready to give Kelly the 2-1. Kelly fouls this one off himself. It'll be 2-2.
I would love to see Zane find a gap right here after that tough outing back in the last game versus the Chinooks.
100%.
Really feel good for him. Not that his confidence is blown at all. The guy that which strikes me that shakes off just about anything.
Hit the ball hard last time, unfortunately pretty much right at Jacob Cozen left. This time he pulls it down the right field line, foul. And watch out over there, Coach Dunham.
And Kelly's average has gone down to 231. He still's got 52 at bats, and he does have 16 walks. That's tied for Burns now with the team lead. So despite his bat going a little bit colder as of the recent past, he still is getting on base and making a difference. A 420 OBP. He's still slugging pretty good, so when he gets good barrel-to-barrel contact, it's usually going to end up in an extra base hit. Would love to see one right now.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Kelly hammers this one in the air, foul down the right field line, just a little bit ahead of these pitches from Jake Dodge.
And Dodge has really got to be careful, and it's not a good position to be in to be careful, because even with the bases loaded, you want to be able to attack, but a guy like Zane Kelly, you give him something over the plate, you're going to wish you had it back.
Another 2-2. Another foul ball down the right field line, and talk about a hitter like Zane Kelly, who is a great hitter, but it's the problem with this Bucs lineup. He's batting 9th, so you struggle with Kelly or work around him, you got to deal with the top right after.
Right.
8th pitch of the at-bat coming. Knowles at third, Hankins at second, Briggs at first, Kelly at the plate, and that'll be strike 3 called. Beautiful breaking ball in the front door from Jake Dodge to get the first out.
Yeah, for Dodge, kind of just froze Zane Kelly, who I don't think was really expecting that breaking ball from him, and was trying to will it to be a little bit off the plate, but that one falls perfectly in the strike zone. So unfortunate luck for Kelly, but still just one down, bases loaded.
Burns also looking for his first hit. Dodge starts him out with the ball. Bucs leading 5-1. No runs since the third inning. Looking to add on and give their pitchers a little bit of a cushion to get these final 6 outs in Game 1 of the 2024 Mayor's Cup. Good stop on that ball in the dirt from Barajas.
And for Burns, and another Buck that has just struggled a little bit recently at the plate. Still has those 16 walks, but strikeouts going up a little bit, and we've been spoiled with not a lot of strikeouts. Love to see his bat get going.
Uses those good eyes that time. Now way ahead 3-0, and for Dodge, there's nowhere to put him.
And Burns has been hitting the ball so hard every single game, it seems, but he's probably the most unluckiest Buck, I would say, out of the bunch.
Not expecting a swing here, 3-0, and he takes a strike. Rightfully so. Make Dodge throw one, maybe two over the plate, especially with Knowles just 90 feet away. Another 3-1. This one in the air down the right field line, fading. That'll go out of play, foul. And was only about a row into the stands. Didn't really see Hayes or Stolga give it a run over there. But Dodge works the count full against Burns. Andrew Lamb waits on deck. Bases full of Bucs here in the top of the 8th inning. The payoff. Soft grounder down the first base line. Burns sprinting. Going to be a tough play for Dodge, but he makes it. Burns gets Knowles in, but really impressive from Dodge to get to that ball and avoid the head of Will Burns.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, getting to the ball is only half the hardest part, and you've got to be able to fire not a strike, but something over the head of Burns or a little bit to his right or left, and Dodge did exactly that.
Still, Burns does his job of at least getting the ball in play and scoring a run here for the Bucs.
Big run, big insurance run.
6-1 now the score, and with Briggs and Hankins advancing, still 2 in scoring position for Andrew Lamb, who takes one on the outside corner.
Did he just switch up to kind of a sidewinder there? I noted he pointed to the Barajas that he did this kind of sign with his fingers. I can't really describe it on air, but it looked like he was more sidewinder. Now more over the top on that pitch. The first one definitely.
Not 100% sure, but definitely something that would throw off the batters, and maybe part of the reason why we didn't see Lamb swing at that first one.
Could be because Burns, the righty, didn't want to throw something sidearm to him, but now has the lefty up.
Lefty-lefty matchup 0-2. This one hit into center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Hankins scores. Briggs gets the wave around third. He's coming home. He's going to score. It's a 2 RBI single for Andrew Lamb, and it's 8-1. The Bucs lead it.
And Lamb just has done such a good job all season and getting those RBIs up bit by bit, and now up to 12 RBIs on the year. That is tied for first with Cole Carlone, and he deserves it. 52 at-bats now in the year, tied for about 5th place.
First pitch to Callahan, a called strike, and with the Bucs not scoring for some time, good to get back in the scoring department and just continue to add on. So demoralizing for teams trying to mount a comeback. Callahan gives this one a ride to center field. Logan Sanders has no problem backing up and getting it, but the Bucs score 3 more in the 8th inning. They lead it 8-1 as we head to the bottom half. Bottom of the 8th inning, Bucks leading it now 8-1 after 3 in the top half, and the new man on for the Bucks is the Wichita State shocker Jeremiah Arnett.
And for his 11th appearance, him and Hyder are the most used bullpen arms by the Bucks, and it's by a good margin, I would say. 16 and 2/3 innings for Arnett, 22 hits, 7 earned runs, good enough for a 3.78 ERA. Has run into a little bit of tough sledding in his most recent appearances, but considering his last one, he's bounced back pretty well. But like I said, a couple before that, he struggled a little bit.
Yeah, really did bounce back well in his last one. That was game 2 of the doubleheader on Monday, the second of 2 consecutive 2-0 wins over the Miners. He worked the 5th and 6th innings of that 7-inning game. Just the 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and a strikeout for the righty, and he induces a swing out of Hefner on the first pitch, shallow center field. Zane Kelly calls everyone off, and how about that start for Arnett?
Great start, weak fly ball, and a little tricky out there, but I love the communication between Kelly, Knowles, and Burns. Everyone heading out there to the same area, but once Zane Kelly knew that he'd be able to track it down, he didn't waste any time, and he called off everyone, realizing that Knowles and Burns both wanted to make that grab.
Closing the book on Rudd as Arnett finds the zone. Andrew Rudd, 2 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. So not his best grade A stuff, but I talk about it so often as that one just misses. Not sure where from Arnett. So much of pitching is about how you do when you're not at your best. It's easy to be successful when you're at your best, but Andrew Rudd not at his absolute best, and he still goes 2 scoreless innings.
Yeah, the 4 hits given up in 2 1/3 inning is not what we would expect from Rudd, but of course he's 2 innings full, but like you said, just a great job of working around the traffic on the base pass and finding a way to get it done.
One ball and 2 strikes to Luke Stolga. No, it still says Rudd on your scoreboard. Hopefully the Pilots realize soon Arnett's out there. If not, we'll go let them know between innings. As that ball's in the dirt, it'll be Jacob Coes to follow Luke Stolga, and hopefully that's it here in the 8th inning. Breezing through, just over 2 hours played. Pilots the home team, so we will play the bottom of the 9th. As that ball is bounced, I guess, off of home plate and all the way up here to the booth. I'm not really sure how that's possible.
That's crazy. There must be just an insane amount of bounce. He must have caught some soft spot there, too. I don't know. That was really weird.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Stolga. Hits this one hard, and that'll get down in left center field. It's a base hit for the right fielder for the Pilots here in the 8th.
Yeah, and Stolga's reached base in his last 3 appearances, a walk and back-to-back singles. So he's seen the ball pretty well from these Bucs pitchers, except for Carlone.
Nobody on the Pilots has seen the ball well from Carlone these last couple of games. 10 innings for Carlone, just 1 hit over these last 2 starts against the Pilots. Fantastic stuff from the lefty. So Coes to the plate looking for his first hit, a fly out, an infield fly, and a strikeout swinging, and this one in the air to left. Callahan coming on, and he's there in time. 1 pitch, and for the second out of this inning, just a 1 pitch out.
Yep, there you go, and you might think after a longer at-bat to Luke Stolga, you don't get rewarded for it, which is irritating, but back-to-back first pitch outs from Hefner and Jacob Coes makes you feel a lot better.
So now the birthday boy still looking for his first hit. A fly out, a ground out, and a fielder's choice. That'll slice out of play, foul. For Arnett, 1 pitch to get Hefner, and then Stolga with an extended at-bat, and then 1 pitch to get Coes. We'll see if the trend continues with an extended at-bat against Barajas, or if Arnett can switch things up and get a second consecutive Pilot quickly. Time running out for these Pilots. Just a bit outside. Stolga over there at first. Barajas at the plate and Arnett on the mound to throw over to first, nothing doing. Just so big for the Bucs to get those 3 add-on runs.
Yeah.
Really diminishes any hope that the Pilots had. Breaking ball stays outside. Trying to mount a comeback. 4 runs seems doable, but 7 is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, 4 runs when you have bases loaded. You split a gap, clear the bases, and all of a sudden it's just a 1-run deficit, and you're right back into that game. And yeah, the 7-run deficit is really tough to come back from. The Pilots just struggle getting runs across day in and day out. It seems this season have looked really good the past 3 games though, but in general just have struggled.
3-1 hit way up in the air to shallow left field. Callahan over towards the line and makes the play in fair territory. 3 flyouts from Jeremiah Arnett, a scoreless bottom of the 8th. We head to the last inning with the Bucs still way out on top. Welcome back for the final inning. Bucs leading 8-1. It'll be 4, 5, and 6, looking to further add on. First of which is today's starter for the Bucs, Cole Carlone, and for the second consecutive game against these Pilots, he just pitched really, really well, giving up just 1 hit this time, which, of course, is more than his last start, but something he'll certainly take, and he pulls this far on a line, just a bit foul, but Carlone with a base hit and a run scored, and 5 innings of 1-run ball. Just a full day at the office and also some maintenance out there on the mound.
And for Carlone, leads the team in RBIs with 12 and hits with 21. Average leads the team as well. And strikeouts just with 7. Tommy Eisenstadt with 3. That's the only better one.
Puts this one in play up the middle. There's the second base hit of the game for Cole Carlone. Just to the left of that second base bag, his patented swing, just going the other way with it and not trying to do too much.
Yeah, he's making it really tough to not give him player of the game. And just doing it on both sides. Couple base hits, scored a run, and 5 innings pitched too. I think it's safe to say it might have to be him.
Just have to wait and see. We'll see if maybe he tries to add to that stat sheet and swipe a bag. Not going here.
That one
hit him way inside Eisenstadt. He says it hit him, and
I think it hit the umpire.
The home plate umpires are worried about himself right now.
Eisenstadt, I thought he was making that ooh face for himself, but he was making it just looking at the home plate umpire. He can't believe what he saw. Looked like, I think it got him pretty square. I don't think that Barajas even touched it.
Trying to catch the replay here on our monitor, and yeah, I just kind of assumed with the ball bouncing around back there that it hit Eisenstadt, especially with him looking back. I guess it was more him looking back at the umpire to see if he was okay and not looking back to say, hey, that hit me. Barajas doing the nice thing after that one caught the home plate umpire and going out to the mound to have a chat with Dodge to buy the home plate umpire a little extra time, but if you're Barajas after that, might not be getting any calls this inning.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, the home plate umpire is pretty nice. Patted him on the back, probably thanked him and stuff like that. So Shouldn't be too bad, but yeah, not the best feeling in the world.
Wonder if the home plate umpire knows it's his birthday. Maybe that'll even things out. 2-0 to Eisenstadt, though, with Carlone at first. It's a dynamic duo for the Bucs, coming up one after the other, and that one's hit hard down the line, just fouled. We've seen a ton of that from the Bucs today, just hitting balls hard, unfortunately, just a little bit out in front.
And most of them have been pull swings from the Bucs. Pilots pitchers don't have, or at least the pitchers today, haven't seen a ton of crazy velo, so a little out in front.
Ground ball down the first base line and just a hair foul. That was a super close play. Hayes trying to get to it before it gets fouled, and wisely so, to secure that out, but first base umpire says,
That seemed like it was guided right down the line. A big break, though, from the Bucs. Don't think it would have been a double play, but it would have been a sure out from Tommy Eisenstadt.
Yeah, always tough to double up Cole Carlone. Stands at first with 2 balls and 2 strikes to Eisenstadt, who puts this one high in the air around home plate. Barajas sheds the mask and gloves it for the first out here in the 9th. PA announcer making it known that it's his birthday, saying nice catch by the birthday boy, and a little smile from Barajas there at home plate.
I loved her inflection. It was kind of like a mom, like, there's a catch for the birthday boy. I love that.
Barajas maybe a little embarrassed by that one.
Oh my goodness.
So now Knowles to the plate. The Pilots can't figure him out. They can hardly figure out how to throw a strike against him, as that one misses low. 3 walks and a single for PK, Peyton Knowles. He's scored twice. He has 2 runs batted in. Just filling up that stat sheet. Stolen base. Swings at this one and gets his second base hit. Aboard for the 5th time tonight in 5 plate appearances. Have a day, Peyton Knowles.
For real, but now making it hard. I mean, who do we do? I don't know. Everyone.
It's a good problem to have.
It is a great problem to have. Such a sound game.
Great on the mound, great at the plate, and those 2 things added up together will give you 8 runs on 12 hits and an 8-1 lead. And what I think the coaches will be most pleased with is, through 8 innings, a 0 in the error column. Always the one thing you could pick out in a blowout win, but Bucs keeping the coaches from having that ability. Third baseman Josh Hankins to the plate. Takes a strike on a nice breaker from Dodge. Dodge coming in the middle of last inning with 2 guys on. Was unable to keep them from scoring, and then had 1 runner of his own score as well. Those 3 runs giving the Bucs this 8-1 lead. That time it's inside to Hankins, 1-1.
And of course, Barajas behind home plate. Father played in the big leagues, Rod Barajas, Sr. Sure wishing his son a happy birthday, and pretty sure he's still around in baseball, not playing wise. But I think that he is, looking at right now, field coordinator for the Marlins, so probably is unable to join his son up here for his birthday.
It's a bit of a ways away, huh?
Yeah.
Inside again to Hankins, now 3-1. Dodge just a ball away from loading these bases. Brody Briggs on deck, and then Zane Kelly, and would love to see Zane get another chance. Knowles at first, Carlone at second. Hankins at the plate, and he takes ball 4. The base is now full of Bucs as Dodge issues his first free pass since coming into this one. And Brody Briggs, who already has a couple of base hits and a run scored, now a chance to pick up his first RBI.
Yeah, and well, the Pilots, he might not even have a chance to bat in the. Well, I guess they would. They would still have that last chance. So it's a little too late for the run rule. But I was about to say they got to be careful. But it really doesn't matter either way. They'll still get a chance to hit. It has to be the end of the inning.
Great job by Barajas there. That pitch was way high, and Barajas did a good job to keep it from getting to the backstop and keep Carlone from coming home. Carlone at third, Knowles at second, Hankins at first. Brody Briggs takes a strike on the inside corner, and not sure that he's the biggest fan of that call. A little smile for the home plate umpire.
Yeah, probably a call he didn't really get too much when he's behind home plate this game, so probably just a little shocked that he gets the call on him now.
This one, more of a definite strike in the zone. Breaking ball from Dodge. We've seen a few of these Bucs take breaking balls from Dodge for a strike, and now with 2 strikes, no room to take another one. Brody Briggs looking to stay alive, and he calls time. Briggs, then Kelly, then back to the top. Bucs leading 8-1. Big 4-run third inning. 1-2 to Briggs. Breaking ball hit high in the air down the right field line, but that is going to go foul into the seats. Good wood on it from Briggs, though.
And just these Bucs are early on these pitches from the Pilots. It's been like that all night.
That was a slow breaker that time.
Yeah, and just the slower velocity from the pitchers, starting with Stewart and Haas, and then now Dodge, and slower meaning slower than what the Bucs have seen recently.
Another slow breaker. That time it's way inside, and Briggs, I think, a little bit upset with himself for hopping out of the way. Such a natural thing to do, though. But with a man on third, I'm sure he would have loved to have taken that one and brought Carlone home. Instead, he'll stay to see pitch number 6. 43rd in total for Dodge. And Dodge gets Briggs swinging. Big strikeout for Dodge with the bases loaded, and now 2 away.
And just the 2 strikeouts in the 8th and 9th. Besides that, the last strikeout for the Bucs came, if I'm not mistaken, all the way back in the 1st inning, and it was the first batter in Will Burns. That was besides Zane Kelly back last inning, which I just said, and that one to Brody Briggs, yeah, the 1st inning was the only other strikeout. It's a very good night for the Bucs bats in terms of just getting it in play.
Only 3 strikeouts for the Bucs pitching, so just a low strikeout game from both sides, and Zane Kelly takes the hit by pitch, and with it he takes an RBI. Carlone comes around to score. It's the 9th run for the Bucs, and Kelly gets over to first for the first time tonight. Now every Buck has reached first base.
It's a great night for the Bucs. Just a good job all around, and wore that one like a champ. Burns has a chance for first base hit of the game.
Yep, he reached in the same manner that Kelly did with the hit by pitch. And he almost got hit again. 9-1, the Bucs lead it. Game 1 of the 2024 Mayor's Cup. Bucs trying to get the cup back for the first time since 2018. 1-0 hit high in the air on the right side. First baseman Owen Hayes calls everybody off, and he staggers to make the grab, but the Bucs add on one more in the top of the 9th, looking to close things out when we come back. 8-run lead. back for the bottom of the ninth inning. Adam Enyart on to close things out for the Bucs, and he's been in this role a lot lately, and he's done well.
He's done really well, and this is his 6th appearance. He is almost mainly a bullpen arm. 2 saves now, 5 2/3 innings, 3 hits, just the 2 earned runs, 3.18 ERA, and he's looked really sharp.
And those 2 saves coming in consecutive days, Sunday and Monday. Monday in that second game of the doubleheader against the Miners, the 2-0 win, as he delivers a strike to Owen Hayes. He pitched that ninth inning with 2 strikeouts, and these pilots should be familiar with him too. Worked game 2 of the July 4th doubleheader and did a good job in a tight game to secure the win for the Bucs and secure a sweep in doing so.
Yeah, and Enyart's a guy we have seen mostly at the start hitting wise, but more and more as of the recent past, we've seen him in the pitching role, and he's just done great at both ways, both pitching and hitting.
Just misses, I guess, upstairs that time.
And in just 36 at-bats, he has 8 RBIs to the 8 hits he also has. So just a 222 average, a little bit low, but he hasn't had that many at-bats, and it's been tough to give it in a regular routine.
Induces a ground ball to Will Burns. Strong throw and a good pick from Tommy Eisenstadt, and Enyart retires the first man he sees. Great start to his closing situation. Obviously not a save situation, which for some closers can be more difficult with the pressure not on, but for Enyart, no problems retiring Owen Hayes.
Yeah, and like I said, in summer baseball especially, it's hard to get into a routine when you're not playing every day and have an at-bat almost every single day. And not that, besides guys like Burns and a little bit of Carlone who play almost every single day, for everyone else, guys like Peyton Knowles a little bit and maybe someone like Andrew Lamb out in the outfield who don't get to play every single game, but we see that most mainstays, and Enyart is definitely not one of those mainstays in the order, but when he comes in, he does his job at the dish and
in the field.
And in the field, exactly.
There's a called strike. 1-2 the count now. After Chase Knight, it'll be Troy Sanders, and hopefully that's all, as the Bucs are looking to wrap up Game 1 of this 3-game series for the Mayor's Cup. This one hit into center field, though, and now if Adam Enyart wants to face the minimum, he's going to need the ground ball double play from Troy Sanders.
Yeah, and you got to give it to the pilots. It must be irritating with the 7 base hits, just the 1 run, but it's not just the 7 base hits where we've seen so many balls up the middle, and almost every single base hit has been something that struck hard.
Yeah.
The Luke Hefner double, which brought in a run, every single base hit has been well earned, and it's not like they're blooping balls over the place.
Strike from Enyart to Troy Sanders, and yeah, 7 guys left on for the Pilots. Definitely some missed opportunities. Also 10 left on for the Bucs, so at the same time, this lead could be even bigger. But yeah, with 7 hits, you definitely expect more than just the 1 run on the board for the Pilots, as there's another called strike. But you got to give credit to the Bucs. They've done a great job of, when there are guys on, tightening things up and getting out of those not even jams as much. Some of them jams, but some of them just light situations, just getting out of them each and almost every time. 0-2, grounder to short. Burns steps on second himself and over to first. It's Will Burns' second unassisted or double play over to first without throwing it to Peyton Knowles, and with it, the Bucs take Game 1 of the 2024 Mayor's Cup. It's a 9-1 win over the Pilots, and what a great start to this weekend series.
Yeah, and just before you finish, I was just about to say, great job by the pitching staff. Yes, they gave up 7 hits, which is not that many to begin with, but it's definitely more than what we're used to seeing. But just the resiliency and the way that they got out of jams, time in and time out, and some of them not even jams, just a base runner here, a base runner there, and just able to work around it. We saw tons of double plays tonight. 4-6-3. We saw 2 6-3 double plays from Will Burns turned by his own self. And like I said, 3 double plays is not something we see from this Bucs defense, and not because they're not good at drawing double plays. They just usually don't have the opportunity. We see them have to work a little bit harder in games to get those double play opportunities, but not tonight, and it really showed. Just a great job by the defense, great job by the pitching staff, and just another all-around good game.
100%. You see a score line of 9-1, and your team hit and your team pitched, and the Bucs surely did both of those things tonight. That is for certain. Cole Carlone getting the start, going 5 innings, just 1 hit, 1 run, 3 walks, and a strikeout. And then Andrew Rudd and Adam Enyart keeping the Pilots scoreless thereafter. Hits really all up and down this lineup. Every Buck that came to the plate reached first base at least once, and like you talked about, Peyton Knowles was never retired tonight, one of many Bucks who just had an outstanding day at the plate.
Yeah, and can't say enough about Peyton Knowles, and he's a troublemaker for a reason. He goes out there and he is going to be a troublemaker on the base pass. He's going to take that extra bag. He's going to try to catch you sleeping, and maybe he tries to go a little bit too much and gets himself caught stealing. But I love that even when he gets caught stealing, he claps his hands together. Well, I'll go get the next one, and it's not like, oh, I can't do that again. I'm not going to do that again. It's like, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to be a little bit smarter about when I do it. And he just does such a great job of just taking the extra base when it presents itself.
100%. And these two teams will be back in action tomorrow for Game 2 of this Mayor's Cup. Reminder, we'll play Game 3 no matter what because these all count towards the league. But as my dad said, to put it into Stanley Cup terms, the Cup will be in the house, you'd have to imagine, with the Bucs taking Game 1 and looking for Game 2. The Bucs will be the designated home team tomorrow, but with today's 9-1 victory, the Bucs improving to 17-7, staying atop the ABL. Pilots falling to 11-16. Bucs now 5-2 against the Pilots in league play, 7-2-1 in total. And speaking of totals, 9 runs on 12 hits and no errors with 10 left for the Bucs. 1 run on 7 hits, 2 errors, and 7 left for the Pilots. For Vic Maslia, I'm Will Hopkins. We'll see you next time.